Hello and welcome to the Graveyard Media Podcast, episode 63 for the week of October 22nd, 2018. I'm your host, Saine Grey. With me is just Dalsson.
And that's it. I don't know where Thel is. We can't find him. He got lost somewhere.
He has a horrible sleep schedule, so he probably is still sleeping.
We put out a bowl of food for him and a bowl of water in case he gets thirsty, but we don't know if he'll come back.
Also, rest in peace, Dalsson's beard.
Oh yeah, I did that. But you can see my chin, which is a new development.
Yeah.
You can never see my chin.
It's pretty weird.
So,
I honestly think you look better that way, but, like, I'm super biased anyway.
You don't like facial, you don't like hair, period.
I don't like facial hair. Well, I like hair. Like, it's clear that I like hair.
Just not on your,
just not on my
head.
face, yeah. Alright. So, we're going to talk about games and movies we've checked out this week, to the extent that we can without Thel.
Yeah.
But actually, we've actually done a lot this week for once, so it's actually a little sad that he's not here.
It is, but we might be able to fill out time without him talking about some random movie that he watched in the 80s.
No, it just came out in the 80s.
It came out in the 80s. He watched it yesterday.
Yeah, pretty much. And we're going to make fun of Thel all we can, because he's not here to defend himself.
Exactly. That's the best time to kick somebody, when they're down. Remember that. It's a life lesson, kids.
Alright, what do we want to start with? I feel like there's more things that I want to talk about this week than I can think of.
Yeah, probably.
Because we were trying to list the stuff that we've seen, but I, like, honestly couldn't remember anything.
So, how about we save Maplestory 2 for last, because all three of us can discuss that, and Thel may or may not show up. I am pretty certain he's sleeping.
Right.
So if he shows up during that interim, we'll actually be able to talk about it with him. I don't... This is really weird. I don't know who should start, because Thel's not here, so...
I can go first if you want.
Yeah, okay. You
if
start,
you're gonna have a heart attack, then I'll go first. Oh, why don't we... Here, I'll talk about Dragalia Lost first.
Oh, okay. I haven't had the chance to give that a try.
Really? This whole week you haven't given it a shot?
I've been playing Command and Conquer Rivals, actually. So,
well, I won't have too many thoughts on Dragalia Lost, so we can move into that afterwards. So far, my experience with Dragalia Lost has been, man, it sure eats up my phone's battery. And also, man, this game sure updates a lot with really big patches.
Is that...
What?
But what about the game itself?
Yeah. So this is another gacha game. Very much like other mobile games. The gameplay itself is kind of like an action RPG kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Except because it's on mobile, it naturally has worse controls. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. The way that you control it is during the actual gameplay segments, because there's actually a lot of, like, story to it, too. This game actually has a lot going on. So, the actual, like, game part.
Okay.
You control your character by holding and dragging in a direction, and then kind of, like, you sort of drag in whatever direction you want your character to move. I kind of would rather have a joystick option, because even though the, like, those fiddly joysticks kind of
the ones
suck,
that, like, show up on your phone? Yeah.
Well, even if it doesn't actually show, if I could just use it like a joystick, then that would be better. But the issue is that you have to actually, like, kind of pull in a direction, and it's like, I don't know, it just...
Well, hang on, now that doesn't sound that different from something like Diablo or Path of Exile, where you just click and hold in a direction.
Yeah, but the difference is,
right?
One is a mouse and one is your whole fucking hand.
Yeah, okay,
like,
that's fair.
If it were just that would be fine. I don't have an issue with holding, like, dragging for that. It's just because you have to use your thumb, it's like, you can't just be clicking in front of your character, you have to actually click and move in a line.
Okay.
Before, like, to set your movement vector or whatever, and it makes changing directions kind of annoying.
That's weird, yeah.
One thing you can do after a few levels is you can set it to auto battle mode, which will basically make the AI take control of the character, except you can still override it. So that's kind of how I've been playing it. I set it on auto, and just anytime there's a monster that creates like an attack zone, I'll flick, you know, you kind of
dodge or whatever.
Yeah, you kind of have a flick to dodge thing. And then anytime the AI is like clearly gonna walk past barrels and stuff that you want to like pick up, you have to like manually take over control and go, hey, no, I want those. And you kind of tap to attack, so you kind of it's kind of mashy, but not in a bad way exactly. It's kind of weird though, because it plays very much like a sort of a JRPG. So there's a lot of story.
Right.
And they have like if you don't do the thing where you download all of the game's assets before you start, you'll have to like download each chapter, which is just really annoying. I'm glad that they at least give you an option to download the whole thing at once, but the game itself is like 12 gigabytes or something.
12 gigabytes? Jesus, I don't have that much space on my phone.
Luckily, you can move it to your SD card, but I think some of it... That's probably an overreaction. It's probably more like 8 or something, or 4 or something. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot by phone standards, but it's not huge. But it's big enough to like have a dent in my phone.
Right.
Luckily, you can move most of it to the SD card, but there is at least a chunk of it that stays on your like main installation.
Right.
Here, let me.
Well, the base download is only 83 megabytes, so I'm sure the data that it stores is
it's okay, 2.6, which is actually a bit smaller than I thought, but maybe that's not counting the additional installation, because
right, maybe that's about what Hearthstone is. So
yeah, I don't know. It's pretty big by mobile game standards anyway.
It is for sure.
The reason I noticed was I mean, it's definitely bigger than Fire Emblem Heroes, and Fire Emblem Heroes is like 3.5 gigs now.
Right.
So I think once everything's installed, it might be like 4-ish, 4.5-ish, or something like that. You know, which is fine, but it's just something you have to keep in mind. And like, I'm really debating on whether this is kind of where I'm at with the game. I have two choices. I can either stop playing it, or I could go and buy a external battery, like one of those batteries that you plug into your phone, because it just tears through my battery. And my phone actually has pretty good battery life, but
my phone has dog shit battery life, so I'm a little worried about that. And the charging port is so loose that I cannot charge my phone while I have it in my hand, because I will knock the charger out. So I might not even be able to play this game.
Yeah, maybe you should try it and see how it affects your phone's battery, because I don't know, maybe you'll have better luck than I will. But
that said, I'm probably gonna go get a new phone tomorrow, because I finally, after 4 years, dropped it and cracked the screen.
Oh,
never done that with a phone before in my life.
Yeah, I haven't either. I was considering pulling off of my screen protector even, because I'm pretty sure it just makes it dirtier looking.
Yeah,
but
I never use a screen protector, or I used it once and it was expensive, and then it didn't do anything.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it just makes micro scratches show up even more. Anyway.
Yeah. So you said the game was really kind of story intensive. What are your thoughts on the story of the game?
Well, so far it's kind of by the book anime JRPG.
Right.
But
okay.
The characters are kind of interesting though. There's like a little fairy girl, and there's one, I swear, like, I swear at the beginning of the game, there's like this Hamura, Madoka Magica part.
Oh, good.
Where a character who seems like she's a future version of a different character shows up and tries to change stuff.
That's interesting.
And then your character is like, what the hell is happening? And then she leaves. So I don't know what the deal with that was, but that was kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It seems kind of interesting, but, you know, it's hard to know right off the bat. It's gonna take some time to, like, get a feel for that. But it's not bad. The characters are sort of interesting. On top of that, there's like a town building layer.
Okay. I actually like that.
Yeah, I don't know. And then, like, the gacha stuff, you can get character drops or these cards that like give you stats on your characters and weapons, I think, are the three things that can drop in the little gacha things. It sort of feels like too much. Like, kind of what I like about Fire Emblem Heroes by contrast is it's a lot simpler. You have like one currency for like one gacha currency, right? And all it summons is characters, and you don't have to worry about anything else. And everything else you either get
can
by
just farm somewhere.
Well, everything else you either get from playing the game or from converting characters into, you know, things, feathers, stats, or whatever. Or you know, like skills or whatever. This thing, it's like, it just feels like there's so much. There's like the actual game part of it. There's the story sequences, which are like, they can take like 5 minutes on their own. Then there's the town strategy layer. Then, you know, the actual like gacha summoning stuff. So it's like there's so much going on. In addition, each character can have a dragon attached to them. So, and dragons are another thing that you can get from the gacha thing. So it's just like, I'm at the point where
there's not like gachas that are specific, like character gacha, weapon gacha, dragon gacha.
No, it just seems like this is the gacha, and you go. And it doesn't even seem like there's different like gacha pools, because right now there's a Halloween event, and the only one available is the Halloween one.
Weird.
Which is fine for me because I like Halloween, but
yeah, sure. But I have another question. Now, I've played a lot of mobile games, and literally every single mobile game I have ever played in my entire life has red beats green, beats blue, beats red, and then dark and light beat each other. Does it have that?
Yes.
I mean, that specifically.
Yes, it works exactly like that.
Good to know.
Yeah, it's blue beats red beats green beats blue.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's exactly the same as Fire Emblem. And then it also has light and dark, which Fire Emblem doesn't.
Yeah, Fire Emblem is, I would say Fire Emblem is unique in that Fire Emblem just has a neutral instead of light and dark.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know, one good thing I will say is it's sort of an action RPG kind of game.
Okay.
And each different kind of character has different like styles of attacks. So there's kind of like common ones, like there are multiple kinds of swords, but with the characters that have the same kind of sword and is like a normal kind of trash character, attack kind of similar. But other ones, like I got a 5-star character that uses a lance, that uses her lance different than a different character I have that uses a lance.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So not only do they each have different skills based on their weapons, but it seems like some 5-star characters, or you know, like good ones, also have different variants of how they use their attacks too. Right. And then on top of that, they all have skills, and skills are another thing that you can get like character specific variant skills. Like I got one of the Halloween drops, and she's like she's the one who uses a lance differently than the same character but not Halloween version that I have. She uses the lance completely differently, or not completely, but the effects look different and the range is different and stuff like that.
Okay.
But then also she has a skill where she shoots a giant, she throws her spear in the ground and it turns into a giant pumpkin.
Ooh,
that does AoE damage. So one thing I like about the game is there does seem to be a lot of variance in how each character works.
Yeah.
But I think that it's kind of too complex for its own good. I don't know. That might just be me though, because I don't know how much I like playing mobile games in general.
Yeah, like a lot of mobile games don't have this complexity at all, like even close, right? That you're describing. So like I think that for people who are really into mobile games, Dragalia Lost, like I've heard nothing but praise about it from pretty much everybody but you. No offense, I just mean that objectively.
Yeah.
Everybody else who has told me about Dragalia Lost has just been praising it, and I think it's because it's such a far leap from other mobile games, which are like either like solve a puzzle or let the game play itself for you and then roll the gacha and then let the game play itself.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. It does have an autoplay mode, so you can basically just let it play it for you. It won't be that good at it, maybe, but I don't know. Like,
sure, yeah. But I think it's like such a far gap from like there's actual mechanics and stuff to it and real legitimate gameplay.
Yeah, but I think the problem is
turn off the gameplay.
I think the problem is the gameplay itself is kind of simplified from like an action RPG. So it's already lesser than a normal action RPG, but it's also more cumbersome to play on a phone. So I just I don't know. I know that at the same time though, a lot of people like action mobile games. And I kind of don't. One of my favorite things about Fire Emblem is that it is turn-based. If I really need to put it down, I can just turn off my screen and I'm fine. But you know, it like I know that a lot of people do like that, and I actually have an older phone. So maybe the load times and stuff aren't as bad on newer phones, but that's another thing that's kind of like just annoying.
Yeah, I get you.
So I think where I'm at with it is I don't think it's gonna win people over who don't already like action mobile games. But if you are, you know, if you do like if the only console you have is a mobile phone, or like there are like points in time where the only thing you have available is a mobile phone, then maybe it'll work for you. But I just don't see myself keeping up with it for that long, considering my favorite part of it is the gacha part. Like the rolling the dice to get stuff part.
Yeah. So now, speaking of action-oriented mobile games, or action-oriented quote-unquote, I've been playing the new Command & Conquer game, which is a mobile game, Command & Conquer Rivals. If you caught E3 last year, this is the game where they had a pro RTS, like, Command & Conquer veteran, and I think currently one of the best StarCraft players in the world, play against a pro esports mobile game player. And the pro esports mobile game player got his shit kicked out of him so hard it wasn't even like a competition, and they were like, oh shit, we should have made that more interesting. And I think that like everybody made fun of that shit, including me.
Honestly, I'm glad it went that way, because I wanted it to be over faster. And if it was any more competitive, I don't know what I would have been able to do.
Yeah, that's fair. So like, but the thing about it is, like, that made the game, that was a really bad advertisement for the game. Like, let's be real, E3 is about advertising games. That was the worst fucking thing they could have done. Because the game is actually decently fun once you get into matches, you know? It's like, it really is like just a miniaturized version of an RTS. You have to manage your resources, you have to choose between building more resource generation and building more units to counter the other units. The kind of king of the hill mechanic where they shoot the missile back and forth at people ensures that you can't just ignore everything until they get to your base and then start spamming out units. Like, you have to be proactive in the game.
Honestly, when I was watching it, I didn't think it looked that bad as a mobile game. I just thought, why are we watching this right now? Like,
yeah, exactly. So I don't really have a whole lot of thoughts to say on it. I just do. There's one weird choice in the game. There's the two factions in Command and Conquer, right? There's like GDC and Nod or whatever. I don't remember what they're called. I was never really that into Command
I
and
think
Conquer.
it essentially boiled down to the U.S. and Russians, right?
Yeah, pretty much. There's the good guys and the bad guys, and you start out. You can play as the good guys, and you are matched against other good guys so that you share the pool of same units, and it's not unfair. And then once you hit rank 4 or whatever, you can choose to play as the bad guys, and you are only matched with other bad guys so that you share the pool of same units, and it's not fair. And that just seems like really weird. Like, shouldn't they just do a better job of balancing the two factions' unique units and let them fight against each other? Because that's kind of the whole point of Command and Conquer is these factions are fighting against each other.
It could be possible that you haven't unlocked cross battle yet, maybe, because I
don't know.
understand why they might do it that way. They might force you to learn how one side works, and then if you want to play the other side, force you to learn how those units work,
right?
And then once you get to a certain point, then you can start playing against each other once you have a solid understanding of both units. So
right now, here comes the criticisms, right? Overall, I enjoy playing it. I enjoy dipping into a match and going, and like for 2 minutes, I just kick somebody's ass or they kick my ass. And sometimes I've even at the point I'm at in like fucking Bronze League Heroes, I've had these really intense matches where it's back and forth and I actually don't know which way it's going to go. So it can be pretty fun pretty quick. It's not like you have to get into it a lot to experience the fast-paced kind of cool deal, right? But here's the issue that I foresee with it. At the beginning, it's not that big of a deal. But the issue that I foresee with it is that, as all mobile games, it runs on a gacha system. The gacha system will give you cards, and those cards correspond to particular units. Now, the first card you get unlocks the unit. And then, as you get more cards for that unit, you can pay to upgrade that unit, which makes it marginally more powerful. It's not like crazy stronger. It's the difference between like 300 DPS and 305 DPS. But
that sounds very similar to the system that Clash Royale used.
Yeah.
And I think that that's not bad for most of the time, but once you get kind of in the higher tier of the game, that's where it starts to like get kind of cheesy. But
and they even had to I read the news like before the game actually launched and when it was in beta, one of the patches that they had to do was increase the drop rate of higher tier cards like the legendary cards and stuff. They had to increase the drop rate of those because what was happening was nobody would use them because your basic infantrymen, you would have like 3,000 cards for them and they would have basically higher DPS than those legendary units that are supposed to be really good because nobody would get the card drops for them. So it was strange.
Yeah.
But again, like I think that only really will come into play in like the higher tiers of stuff. And then if you like don't play for a while and you get a bunch of free spins or whatever and get a bunch of cards, then you can just kind of boost your way up to higher tier play where you're playing against more balanced matches anyway.
Well, the way that it worked in Clash Royale was it kind of assigned some arbitrary number based on how good your deck was. And then it only matched you against other people who had the similar deck. So you could have one unit that was just so much better than the rest of your cards that would put you in sort of a lower one. Or you could have kind of a balanced mix of things that are good and bad.
Right.
So
see, this one actually uses like a matchmaking system. I don't know if it's ELO or whatever, but yeah, I mean, it uses like a matchmaking system based on your wins and losses. So,
I think it did. Yeah, I think it did the same thing in Clash Royale.
Okay.
So one thing that Clash Royale did was it would give you like a daily chest where you would get unlocks. And then there were like 3 chests that if you played games, you would unlock the chest per game or something like that, or wins or something. How does it work in there?
So with this one, okay. So one thing I mentioned was that you kind of had to get lucky, like, or may have implied was that you kind of had to get lucky to get the better units. So that's not true. As you climb through the ranks, you're guaranteed to get a card for that unit. You can get it earlier, but like say at the time by the time you get to gold, you will have the option to use all of the units at least. They may not be upgraded, you might not want to, but you'll have them. But those are the free rewards you get for playing. Is by ranking up, you get free rewards. You get like a free chest every time you rank up in your elo rating or whatever. And the other thing you get every time you play a match, regardless of whether you win or lose, you get convoy fuel. And the convoy fuel is used to first order a crate, which will take 8 hours to arrive. And if you spend another convoy fuel, it will only take 2 hours to arrive. And being that the matches take like 2 minutes, there's literally no reason not to spend convoy fuel to make it take 2 hours to arrive, ever. Because you can just go and get another one.
Yeah, one thing that was annoying about Clash Royale in particular, I remember, is so your first 3 wins would unlock you a chest. And at least early on, winning was not that difficult, right? If you won 3 rounds, then you like had unlocked all of the chests for that time frame, so like the next chest would unlock in like 8 hours or whatever. So then you just really weren't incentivized to keep playing.
Right.
Like, because you could rank up your like elo matchmaking or whatever, but you wouldn't be able to like unlock any rewards hardly for it. I think you still got something, but I don't like. I think it was like currency of some sort. So that just, I don't know.
So in that vein, though, you can also so every match you win gets you gold or whatever it is, and you can use your gold to purchase units like directly from the store.
Right.
However, you also use your gold for training units. So the way that it works is when you get in a, say that the infantryman takes 10 cards to rank up, right? You get the 10 cards, and then you have to train them 3 times by spending gold, and then you will be able to rank them up to where they can be trained 3 more times. So
you know what I don't get?
There's a lot of gold that sink in it.
I just don't understand why a lot of these mobile games have so many currencies. Like, I don't understand what the purpose of it is, because
I understand what the purpose of it is, but
well, what is the purpose in your?
The purpose of it is so that they can sell you more shit for their real money shit. Like maybe Fire Emblem Heroes doesn't let you buy
But I feel like if they make it, once they get to the point where they have so many currencies that it's so confusing that you don't know what you need, I feel like that's the point where it all falls down. Because like
right.
Dragalia Lost, I can't even say whether or not it's like good or bad and balanced in terms of like its gacha stuff, because I actually don't know how easy it is to get currencies and what currencies I need and which I don't. Because there's mana, there's the ones that look like rainbow called, I think it's like Dragonite or something.
Okay.
And that's what you actually use to summon things. There's like obviously experience, and then weapons have experience, and there's dragons, and dragons have experience, and you need gold to level up your dragons. And also like it's just, there's so much that I don't really know what's for what anymore hardly. And I don't know, like maybe I can buy Dragonite, but maybe I don't need it. Like I don't know if like right now they're giving a bunch away free because it's like its first month or whatever, but after that it's like, is the only way you get it through achievements, or is there I just don't it's I don't know. I'll have to put more time into Dragalia Lost to even find out, but like at this point I have no way to like say you know how good or bad it is. In contrast, Fire Emblem Heroes has orbs, which are like the one gacha currency, and everything else has a very specific purpose that you can ignore unless you're looking for it.
Right. And see, that is the crux that other mobile games are like kind of leaning on. They want you to ignore it until you're looking for it. And then you're looking for it, and then you're like, oh no, I don't have enough. Better go to the store and spend $5 from my mom's credit card so that I can just do it now. And that's what mobile games are preying on. And it's kind of gross, and it's definitely bad. And that's why I like some of these mobile games, like Fire Emblem Heroes specifically is really great about that. You can't even, I think the only thing you can buy is orbs, right?
Well, the thing about Fire Emblem Heroes is, and this is, I mean, it's all like pseudo gambling anyway. But the nice thing about Fire Emblem Heroes is, orbs are the one paid currency. So you buy orbs, and then you can convert orbs into other stuff as you need it.
Right.
Which makes things more simpler. It gives, currencies a hierarchy, right? It's like, orbs are the most important because they are what you summon heroes with, and you can buy a bunch of other shit with it. And then everything else is secondary. It's like, some things you can't even get for orbs. The only way to get it is through playing. In Dragalia Lost, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I could open it and look at the cash shop now if I wanted, if I thought it was relevant, but like,
I will say in Command and Conquer, you can just buy gold directly for money, and that's it. And now gold is used for literally everything. Like that's actually just the exact counterpoint to what you're saying now. In Command and Conquer, you have that fuel which you get for playing matches, and all you use it for is the cargo crates. And I think you have daily missions like play this certain number of this unit. You can re-roll those using cargo fuel if you just don't feel like using that unit. But that's the only secondary currency. It's just gold and then that weird fuel which is used for like 2 specific things. So
that's good.
So yeah. So
does it have stamina?
It does not have stamina. That's another thing I really like about it. You can just keep playing and playing and playing all you want, which is great. I understand why there's a stamina. Well, I don't understand why, but I understand that there's a stamina limiter in the single player games so that you can't just farm for 10 hours or something. I don't know why they wouldn't want you to do that, but because this is straight up only a PvP game. There is no option for PvE except for like the tutorial, obviously. So this is straight pure and simple PvP. So everything you're doing is fighting another player, and as such, they're not going to limit you in doing that. Because eventually you'll probably get frustrated by getting your ass kicked anyway.
Yeah. Dragalia Lost does have a stamina system, but it's I think because of either it's because my account is so low level, or it's because the game just came out, so they're like extending it. But it seems like there's 20 units of stamina or whatever, and I've never dropped to 20. Like I've always been like 30 or something, like above the
like
maximum.
your overfill gauge, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why that is necessarily yet, but I don't know how the stamina works for that yet.
Right. Fire Emblem Heroes is really silly about it too. Like they give you so many I think I have like 500 maximum stamina restores because they give you.
Yeah, I have over 100. And I've used them for stuff, and I still have a ton.
Yeah.
But I mean, the nice thing about Fire Emblem Heroes also is based on what thing you're doing, it costs more or less stamina. So if you're doing and some things don't cost stamina, they cost a different resource.
Right.
So like some things cost 10 stamina, like the higher tier battle stuff, 10 stamina. The lower tier, it's like 1 out of 99. So like at the high end, you could do 10 matches or whatever before you have to stop or refill.
And of course,
at the low end, it's like 100.
Those matches probably give you 10 times the reward anyway, so.
Well, not in stamina, but.
Right, yeah. But...
yeah, in terms of, yeah.
Or you could do 10 of them instead of 20. They'll give you twice the amount of rewards, basically.
Well, it's kind of different just because, like.
Thel's on his way.
All right. Well, good. He just missed mobile stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So let me talk real quick about Sunless Sea, because the other game I want to talk about, he may or may not have tried. I told him to try it because I want to play it with him. So Sunless Sea is a game, Sunless Sea and Fallen London, as a matter of fact, are both games that I've really loved ever since I think Saine bought it on a whim and I played it on his family sharing. um so essentially what you're doing, you're running a ship and you are based out of a version of London, which there was some kind of cataclysmic event which sent it into an underground ocean cave. And you're just going around in this underground ocean cave trying to essentially work for the London Admiralty and further yourself. You have different goals depending on, like, you can choose your goal at the start of the game. Like, I am playing a poet who just wants to see everything possible in the sea, you know. He just wants to enrich himself and see everything. So, you have to manage your fuel and food for your crew and stuff. You sail around and dock at different ports, and each port has things that they call stories, which are exactly that. They're stories that you can go through. And sometimes you'll be limited on whether you can find, like, what story or no. Oh, no. Hang on.
And there's a few alternate versions of each story as well. So if you go back to that same place, it might go out a little bit differently, especially depending on what characters you have with you.
Right. And there is, it's like a roguelike, there is permadeath, quote unquote, but when you die, you have the option to send along something that you had. So, like, maybe you had a really good gun at one point, you'll die and you can be like, in your will, you leave your ship's weapon to your next of kin, and then you can start out your next character with that one single thing. And
Right.
That's it. It's not like a meta progression thing. It's just like you get one thing that you used to have.
Yeah. I thought the game was
So
really hard, but I probably didn't put enough time into it either.
The game is really hard, and it's kind of like, it's one of those games. So you're on a ship, you're sailing between ports. The best thing to do is going to be stock up on supplies that are cheap at one port and then sell them at a different port where they're expensive. Every time. Every game that is like this, that's the best way to play. But what I like to do is just kind of like make a big loop and stuff. But Sunless Sea is a rather old game. The reason I'm talking about it now is they relatively recently, it's been months, but decently recently came out with an expansion called Zubmariner. Because the letter S does not exist in the world of Fallen London. Everything
Naturally
is just replaced with a Z. So the story of Zubmariner is that you're introduced with is there are frightful things under this ocean. This game is very Lovecraftian, like very much so. So, like, you even have a terror gauge where if you're in the darkness for too long, your terror will go up, and the higher your terror gauge is, the more crazy Cthulhu-y events happen. So, just bear that in mind. Now, Fallen London made a contract called the Agreement of I think it's literally called the Agreement of that thing with no consequence. And the agreement is that the Admiralty Commission will not allow their sailors to use submarines. You can't go underwater. It's illegal. And they just want to brush it under the rug. This game also has a weird, British humor thing to it. So you have to sail out to find somebody who will build you a submarine, and then you have to go and collect all the bits and stuff that you might need for the submarine. And it's a long, involved quest chain. I haven't actually unlocked the submarine part yet, but it's really exciting because what it seems like, once I get the submarine, I'll just be able to go to either one or multiple entirely new maps, because they're all over the place. They're like these abysses that obviously don't do anything. They're just named the Abyss for like landmark purposes. But once I get the submarine, I'm sure I can explore them, get new stories and all kinds of stuff.
Submariner came out like 2 years ago.
Did it really?
No, it only recently came out on PS4.
Really? That's crazy. I had no idea.
Also,
I
they
only
have that
recently
Sunless
heard about it.
Skies game, which is like an airplane version of the same game.
Yeah, which is interesting. But I think the main point is that Sunless Sea really shines in its writing.
Yeah.
Like every port that you enter just turns into a choose your own adventure book. So it's really phenomenal. You have to read a lot. If you don't like reading, you're not going to like Sunless Sea. If you do like reading, but you don't like the ship and management aspects, you can also play Fallen London, which is a web game. So it's
And Sunless
they're
Skies
pretty damn good at what they do.
And Sunless Skies is in early access right now, which is like pseudo sequel to it.
Yeah. I mean, if you like the
It looks like,
if you
okay,
like the
apparently you
setting
fly
better.
trains. They're flying trains.
Okay, yeah.
They're not airplanes,
understandable.
they're flying trains.
That sounds like something that London would make.
Yeah, Fallen London, maybe.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, flying trains. Okay, well that's interesting.
Also, they recently released a free tabletop pen and paper RPG.
For Fallen London?
Yeah. Well, for
Interesting.
the universe called Skyfarer. It actually looks like it's more closely related to Sunless Skies. But
Interesting. Yeah, that's another thing that I really like about it. They have all this world building. Like you can even go to the surface and get a bunch of stories at the surface. Problem is, you've lived your whole life in an underground cave that doesn't have a sun, so you basically have to spend like 4 million supplies per second to be in the sun, or else you'll just burn. So it's really hard to do. It's really hard to do that shit, but it's very lucrative.
you know,
Yeah. Anyway, Sunless Sea, glowing recommendation if you're willing to read.
yeah.
What do I know?
Reading. I don't remember what I was gonna say. That's fine.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna talk about Halloween now.
Okay. Do you have anything else? Because Thel is on his way. He might want to be here for that.
I don't know. Other than Maplestory, no, I don't think so.
Well, let's talk. Yeah, let's just go for it. Just talk about Halloween.
Well, do you have another game that you? I mean, I could talk about. I played Caves of Quid again, and was really bad at it. So I didn't make any progress, and I died over and over again.
Same, man, same.
As is my experience with that game every time, because I don't know why, but that seems to be like the hardest roguelike, like traditional roguelike I've ever played, and I don't know how to progress in it at all.
I think it's because there is absolutely no guidance whatsoever.
No, there's guidance. They give you quests. It's just you go there and it's too hard for you, and you don't know why.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to grind for 1,000,000 years before you start that first quest that they give you.
I also think that physical traits are balanced worse than other ones.
He popped on the Skype. Be ready to switch the overlay.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. I think as far as Caves of Quid goes, the most fun build that I've ever done is I took 2 traits, one which allows me to mind control things to fight for me, and one that allows me to transfer my brain into something else. So I can mind control something, transfer into it, and then equip it with all kinds of good shit, and then transfer out of it and just make it play the game for me.
That's funny.
It's pretty fun.
It's like Thel's about to join.
Yes, Thel will be here shortly.
Okay,
Hello,
I'm
Thel.
here. Sorry about that. Hello.
You fucked up?
Yeah, I can actually tell you guys what happened.
No, well, we kind of know what happened.
Yeah, basically, my phone was plugged in, but it was not charging. It was dying slowly. It died, then went all the way back to 100% charge.
Yeah, I even tried calling you, and
Oh yeah, deadass. My phone was gone.
yeah,
Direct to voicemail.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I was gonna talk about Halloween. Is there something you want to talk about before we move to Halloween?
There was a movie. Unfortunately, I didn't get to finish the movie I wanted to watch. But no, so no, go ahead.
Cool.
Dalsson made me wait to talk about Halloween in front of you, apparently.
For like
no.
5 minutes.
I haven't seen the new one, and I've only seen the first one.
I've never seen the first one, and I've only seen the new one.
I see.
Together they fight crime.
Together they fight crime. All right.
So, horror movies have had such a good, like, renaissance lately.
Yeah.
So what this new Halloween movie does, apparently, is it decanonizes everything after the first one.
Yeah.
And it's a sequel to the first one.
Yeah.
It takes place in, like, modern day. Like 40 years after the events of the first one or something. The main character from the first, like, the woman character, is now, like, a grandmother.
Okay.
The woman's daughter, which I don't even know if that character was in the first one. Was there a little girl in the first one, though?
The woman's daughter? No. The lady, she was like Laurie Strode was like a teenager.
Okay. Well, anyway, at some point she has a daughter, and she teaches her how to shoot when she's, like, 8, and, like, I don't know. She basically abuses this kid because she's so traumatized herself. And then, so, like, by this point, that same character is in therapy and stuff, but also has her own daughter. So there's, like, now 3 generations of this family who is terrorized by, Michael Myers.
Man, the Love Groove fucked me up, too.
So what I kind of like about this movie is it seems like the actual natural progression from a slasher flick. Like, because the thing about slasher flicks for so long was that it just became about turning the monsters into more monstery monsters until they were running out of ideas, so they go to weird places like outer space and hell.
I'm still of the opinion that the slasher genre fucking killed horror movies for like 20 years.
I'm still of the opinion that Jason X was one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. All right,
it was one of the best bad movies.
Enough.
I agree, but, like,
it's one of the best movies ever made. Yes, but
I don't think it was single-handedly responsible for that, but I think it did probably play a big role. And I think I remember Scream in particular kind of revitalizing that too. But even then, Halloween was old by then.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
It feels like every decade or so, there's, like, a new burst of energy in the horror scene, right? Like, but, you know, until it gets old and samey, and then they give up, and then eventually it's like, hey, we have to come up with new ideas again. Kids are getting sick of horror movies.
Yeah, but even in the previous, like, decades, in the 90s, it was like Scream and stuff, and then in the 2000s, probably the best thing I could think about would be even, like, the scary movie parodies, as horrible as that sounds, to be even close, but, like, it got to the point where when I heard The Babadook was really good, I assumed it was good for a horror movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I watched it, and I was like,
really good,
oh,
period.
this is just a good movie.
So,
and this year we've gotten like 5, and it's great, and I'm happy.
Yeah, so this movie, what's really cool about this movie, like I was saying, it seems like the actual natural progression of the genre. It's about a character who's so traumatized by the events of the first one, she is essentially a psycho. She is almost as crazy as fucking Michael Myers is at this point. So, like, after he escapes from prison or mental asylum or whatever, he kind of just wanders around stabbing people, and that's kind of like what he's doing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually he's, like, trying to track down this woman for no discernible reason other than he's kind of psycho, right?
Right.
And but she's, like, fucking nuts too. So she basically leads him to her house, which she has basically turned into, like, I don't know, Like each
fucking
door
Michael
has
Myers
like
kill.
yeah, Michael Myers kill house essentially. Each door
good.
has like metal sliders that trap people in that room, and like she has an armory under this hidden compartment. Like, and she states this pretty early on in the movie. She like, I think it's even in the trailers, but her plan is not to like survive Michael Myers. She wants to fucking kill him. And so it's like by the end of the movie it straight up turns into a cat and mouse game of the two trying to fucking kill each other in a house of horrors.
Good.
That almost reminds me of the end of the first Nightmare on Elm Street, when the girl just like pulls Freddy directly out of the dream. And he's just trying to get her. He's trying so hard, but then he gets set on fire, beat to shit with all of the traps the little girl has said. It's great.
Yeah, see, I like that, like that turnaround in the fucking slasher movies. Like, you know, people are always sitting there screaming at horror movies. Why the fuck are you doing? No, don't do that. Go to fucking no. Just hit him with a bat, you know, or whatever. And then seeing a movie or hearing about a movie, I suppose, where somebody hits Michael Myers in the fucking face with a bat is like, that's cool.
Well, that's kind of what made Scream so refreshing back in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's like, the dude was just like a killer, like a psycho killer guy. There's even a scene where one of the characters straight up hits him in the nuts with a beer bottle. And he like falls over. Like there's this whole scene where he's just falling over and over because he keeps getting hit by the person that he's trying to kill. So yeah, I don't know. In this movie, like Michael Myers is seriously still a threat. Like he's obviously much physically stronger than the like woman protagonist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's not vulnerable in the same way that like a lot of slasher movie characters are. They still have another character who, like the youngest girl, who's like, you know, the third generation of this family, who is kind of like sort of that kind of damsel-esque character, but it's not played as hard as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's still like the one running away, but it's because, you know, in a situation where people are trying to kill you, it's like your first impulse is to just fucking run. So like it makes sense. It's not like she's just being a scared, you know, defenseless woman. It's like because she's like freaked out
and then goes into the closet when he's like 4 feet back from her, and he watches her go into the closet. And then she like covers her mouth and goes.
That was actually dead ass the scene in the first Halloween movie, the one that you're referencing. That was the one in the first Halloween movie.
Yeah.
So
remember, that was the first slasher movie, technically.
Yeah, exactly. It was the one in the first Halloween movie, and then every single horror movie made up until Babadook.
Well,
not every. There were a bunch of supernatural possession movies.
And also enough. Scream never did that.
Yeah.
They were too busy having a meta-commentary on horror movies and saying what you should never do in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, this movie is getting a lot of praise, and I think it definitely deserves it. It's well-crafted from top to bottom, first of all. There's kind of a turnaround halfway through the movie where, like, the characters get agency that they usually don't have in movies like this. So it's really interesting to watch. And by the end, it's like, you don't even know if you should be rooting for the like characters you're supposed to be rooting for, because they're almost as fucked as the bad guy. So I don't know.
It almost sounds like Terminator 2. It's like taking that whole sort of thing.
Kind of, but not... yes, a little bit. It's like the woman may as well be Sarah Connor. Like, it's the same kind of thing. She's like a fucking badass with a gun, with a shotgun now.
She's like, I'm gonna fucking kill the slasher.
Who everyone thinks is an absolute goddamn nutcase. Yeah.
That being said, I still think Sarah Connor would win in a fight. Because she was fucking ripped. So, I don't know. This movie is really good. I definitely recommend it. Like, it's definitely gonna be part of this horror, like, renaissance, right? You're gonna think about it. Yeah, you're gonna think
Right.
about it next to movies like Get Out and A Quiet Place as being like these, the new, I don't know,
Yeah.
the new
A new
kind of
revitalization of horror.
exactly.
And it's
Yeah.
weird because like even Hollywood is getting in on this shit. Like even Hollywood, when it was because it used to just be indie movies, but slowly Hollywood is sort of starting to get the idea in the head, like, hey, horror movies can make money if we do good. Why haven't we been doing good this whole time? Because we
Quick.
wanted to make them cheap. Why haven't we been doing good this whole time? Quick!
Program a robot to pick out all of the good things in horror movies.
Dude,
Get
there's
Jim Halpert. He'll know what to do.
There's
Jim
something
Halpert,
about
yeah.
your background that is causing your camera to flicker.
Thel?
It's like not
Me.
sure. No, Thel. It's like not sure how to expose Thel's background.
I think I know how to fix that. I just told not to.
Anyway,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
so yeah, I definitely give it a recommendation if you like slasher films for sure.
Yeah.
Good.
It's not that scary though. It like they don't
Yeah, well.
don't try to be like jump scares and stuff.
Yeah, slasher movies don't necessarily have to be scary.
Yeah.
They just have to be intense, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I'm really glad that they just kind of backed up and just made him a psychopath instead of making him a zombie or whatever they did in the following Halloween movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what they did to him, but I'm
pretty
me he
sure it
was not
like 5 different
discernible.
things.
To me, it's not he wasn't discernible by Jason at a certain point. So
Right.
I mean, you know, John Carpenter did produce a movie that he tried to steer away from the whole Michael Myers thing, but everyone went, "Where's Michael Myers?
Yeah, okay.
What happened?" Well, I see Michael Myers in this movie. Yeah, but at all.
oh, another thing the movie does really well is in a short amount of time they establish characters in a way that make you care when they get murdered.
Oh, good.
Good.
And they
That's
do
important.
this several times where they're like, here's these characters. You like them, right? Dead.
Yeah.
That's not a huge spoiler. I mean, it's a slasher film.
So it's a whole... It's me, the old man from the first movie. It's good again to see you, Laurie Strode. Oh no. Michael Myers,
It
seems
appears
to
I've
killed
been
me.
impaled.
He's right behind me, you should run.
All right, yeah, okay, I can see
Yeah.
that. That's a great movie. That's great storytelling right there.
But yeah, I am very excited to watch this movie. We still got a couple horror movies this year that I ain't seen yet.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I will
That's good.
say I probably did like A Quiet Place and Get Out better. Like they're kind of in their own realm, but like definitely as a progression for slasher films, this is like a really good movie.
Good.
So, I have another game that I want to talk about. I wanted to wait till Thel got here because I heard, Thel, that you were able to install it, but
I was not
don't
able
know
to
if
play it,
you
no.
didn't play it. Okay. So the game is called Minion Masters, and it's actually related to a bit of news we have. The Discord store launched. We'll talk more about that later, but it is...
No, we talked about that last time.
Did we talk about it last time?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
We even talked about this game being a at the time you had only played this game a little bit, but
Man, I don't remember it at all. What happened this week? Jesus.
Yeah, man.
No, we did not talk about that last time. I posted it after the podcast. It happened on Tuesday, so we couldn't have.
I'm pretty sure we talked about.
Look, the news article is posted on Tuesday.
I don't know.
Well, anyway about it. The point is that this game is described as a card game MOBA tower defense. And it is absolutely none of those things. At all. It is technically a tower defense game in that you are a tower and you are defending yourself. It is technically a card game in that the RTS units you play are represented by cards. And I suppose it is technically a MOBA because multiplayer online battle arena is the least descriptive thing ever a term ever coined. But what is really going on is you have a deck of minions and spells which you can use. It consists of like 10 cards, I think. And you play them out, and it's closer to like if you've ever played one of those tug of war maps in Warcraft 3 or StarCraft. You have to play out your minions across 2 different lanes and ensure that you have the advantage at all times, essentially. The main strategy layer of the game consists of controlling 2 bridges, because as you control those bridges, they give you experience, which levels up your tower, which will give your tower, which is represented by a hero, more abilities to use within the game. So you can you get stronger. It's not like it can just stalemate. It's pretty fun. It's pretty free. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts that I can really put into words. They have a bunch of different modes, right? So there's like a draft mode, which you can basically play infinitely. It's not like Hearthstone where it costs gold to enter, but you're pretty much guaranteed to get all of that gold back once you win once or twice. And they also have a interesting mode called Expedition, which you're basically playing like a board game, almost like Mario Party, and you're moving around the board, and then you come up, you've come up against a challenge. Play a PvP match and complete these requirements within the match, and the more requirements you get, the more points you get towards the expedition. And now for the funny part.
Okay.
The purpose of that expedition is to rank up your Fortnite-style season pass.
I mean, it looks like a mobile game, so... You know,
I hate that everybody is taking that Fortnite season pass idea, because it is a shitty idea and I hate it.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, me too. It's the thing that's sort of throwing loot boxes away and trying to monetize stuff.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I don't mind monetization. I just think it's a bad way of monetizing. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd rather just buy shit.
Yeah, the good thing about it though is that you can every day it gives you rubies, which are mobile game currency, number 5. And those rubies can be used to purchase the season pass. So if you just play once a day for 10 minutes, you'll get enough to do it before the season's over. So, but I don't know. I agree. It's kind of a lousy system, and it just feels like you're getting cheated out of stuff if you don't buy it.
Yeah.
But for me, I really like the like base gameplay, just going in and strategizing around how the minions move. You know, there's like flying and ranged and melee, and they're not like set into those categories or anything. It's not like a basic bitch mobile game where like, oh, this character is ranged, that means he's always good against flying units. It's like each individual unit has its strengths and weaknesses. There's a lot of units in the game, and you just have to work with what you have, because you obviously don't know what your opponent's going to have before you go in.
You know, so, I feel like I've compared a lot of things to Clash Royale this podcast, but it definitely looks a lot like Clash Royale.
Really?
That's exactly what I fucking said.
I thought you said that about Command and Conquer.
No, I said that about Command and Conquer too.
I don't think it's the same as Command and Conquer. I think there are comparable things, but like straight up, the gameplay looks super similar to Clash Royale of this Minion Master game. Which if its monetary system is built more around that season pass thing instead of that like really crappy unit upgrade system that we were talking about earlier, then maybe.
Oh yeah, So that is an important note. We already talked about Command and Conquer, which has that crappy unit upgrade system. You use the gold, of which you get a fuck ton of, to buy chests, which you open for units, right? The units, you can get multiples of the same unit, but what that does, instead of upgrading the unit, making it better, is it gives that unit more glory. And the more glory you have in your deck, the more season pass points you get for winning. So that's all that getting multiples of a unit does. Also, you can like a la Hearthstone, you can disenchant units and buy other cards with that disenchantment dust. And I have like so much of it floating around. I'm pretty sure I could buy every unit already, and I've been playing it for a week. So as far as like being worried about XX Pro Gamer Jared ZD123 having just straight up better units than you, that's not a concern, which is really nice if you ask me. But yeah, it's simple, and it's really fun for me to just launch it up and play 2 or 3 games for 15 minutes. That's what I like about it.
I do like competitive games that do sort of do that.
Yeah, everyone's at a level playing field, really.
Yeah.
And that's what I think makes this game a step above the shitty mobile games that are like this. But now that you're saying it, it looks. I never knew what Clash Royale was. I thought it was one of those. I thought it was the same thing as Clash of Clans, which is the only Clash game that I've ever seen. But now
Clash
that I'm
Royale is
looking at
actually
Clash
made
Royale-
by the same people.
Oh, okay.
That's why it has the word Clash in it.
I thought it was the same game and
No.
a different company.
I
but
can
yeah.
see why you would think that, but actually, it's made by the same guys. I think.
I see.
I could be wrong.
Well,
Though.
anyway,
Maybe I should double check that.
The
before I just
point is
state
that, of
stuff.
course, now that I look at it, the game just does look like even the UI, like the mana generation, it looks exactly the same.
Clash Royale was actually pretty fun, to be honest.
Yeah. And so if you like Clash Royale, I would say this game is probably just a better version of that. With less shitty money grubby things in it, except for the Fortnite season pass.
Yeah, Clash Royale was made by the same people who made Clash of Clans.
Okay.
So that's where Clash comes from.
I see.
Instead of just being pick a name sort of close to them. Did you never wonder why like a game that wasn't Clash of Clans got super popular for a while?
No,
You
I
just
thought
didn't
that's
even
how it
consider it.
happened.
You're just like, oh, that's how it is. Okay.
You just thought it was like another Clash of Clans clone, like it was a fucking Fortnite PUBG sort of deal.
Yeah.
But somehow became way more popular for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't even try Clash Royale because it was like super popular for a while.
Well, see, that's the thing. I tried Clash of Clans. I did not like Clash of Clans, and I thought Clash Royale was the same game. So
it's just weird to me with as much as people were talking about it, how you could just continue to not realize. That's just funny.
I'm
just
almost
funny
kind of disappointed that I didn't, because I really like Minion Masters, but I think that if I had gotten really into it, Minion Masters may have replaced it for me. Aside from not being on mobile, which is
I just stopped playing because I got bored with it. I never thought it was bad, and I never felt like I was being taken for a ride with it, and I never spent money on it, so
right.
I just got bored of it. But I thought it was pretty good. Maybe you should try it. I don't know.
Maybe.
You want a mobile game to play.
It would give me that same game that I already know I like on mobile. Except it has that weird shitty upgrading system, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, but like I said,
I don't want to come up against a guy who just straight up has the same unit but better, which is what I like about Minion Masters. If you play out the same unit, they're going to clash and they're going to kill each other at the same time. Every time.
Yeah, but they might have one that's better than yours, but you might have a different unit that's better than theirs. That's kind of how they balance it.
Right, exactly, yeah. Okay.
I think the problem with that game is it got really meta heavy.
Yeah.
Like all of these games kind of do. Yeah, so like there were certain cards that were like, this is the card that wins games.
Yeah.
Kind of like I mean there's always been one, right? Like I'm thinking of Yu-Gi-Oh from forever ago, and there was a Mystical Space Tornado, which was so well known. It was abbreviated as MST, and everybody knew what that card was in Yu-Gi-Oh. So
yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
so is Maplestory the last thing we've got?
Yeah,
I could talk a little bit about, unfortunately, the movie that I wasn't able to finish because I wanted to go to bed because I wanted to get up early for the podcast. But look how well that went.
Well, why don't you just watch that next time, and we'll talk about
Maplestory. I
Maplestory.
sure will.
Because we're already over in an hour.
Yeah.
So, it would make sense to just move on to this game.
Right.
Maplestory. So what are your thoughts on Maplestory 2?
Not the first one, the second one specifically.
I should specify Maplestory 2.
Because the truth is, it wouldn't be unlike us to just be hipsters and be like, oh, Maplestory 2 came out. Let's go play Maplestory 1, guys. Nah.
I actually think a lot of people are doing that, though. Which is...
Yeah. I think
straight up.
But Maplestory 2 came out swinging really hard and surprised me. I did not expect to play it twice. Which is exactly the number of times we have played it, but there will be more. I can almost guarantee. I was really surprised at how fun it is. It's still got, like, you just go into droves of enemies and cut them down for experience, but it also has like a guided story, which none of us are paying any attention to because fuck that. It has a lot of little distractions, like these little mini game events will pop up to give you. It has a lot of cool events, lots of side stuff to do, like crafting and stuff.
See, for me, I think the little side distractions are the best part of it because really the combat is not that complex. It's not that difficult, and even the little dungeons are super easy, and we've not really run into any problems actually, or needed to be heavily strategizing about what, like, our character classes and stuff. We're just kind of casually going through it. But the game is so good about having, like, hey, come do this other random thing somewhere else right now. And it's this mini game that's, like, super fun, just randomly.
Additionally, you say the combat's super easy and you don't have to strategize a lot, and that's true, but
early
also,
on,
like...
Yeah,
early on. That's true so far, but there have been points in time where we've, like, straight up died, like, even in the, like, level 10, 15 area, and, like, I don't think I've played an MMO in, like... I don't think I've played an MMO since Guild Wars 2 where I have died once during the leveling process. Period.
I think maybe Elder Scrolls Online.
Maybe, yeah. I think we might have died in Elder Scrolls Online, but that's almost a different thing. Like, that's an Elder Scrolls game. It doesn't have, like,
kind of not really.
I guess this doesn't really either. Yeah.
But
so,
if there were any, it would have been that one and nothing else. So that's kind of the point.
Yeah. The other
to
thing
be fair, I do think we were fighting something way higher level than us, but that's beside the point.
Pretty sure. The other thing I really like about Maplestory is that there's a whole bunch of user-generated content. Like, you can straight up go into the cash shop and buy user-generated content. You can go into the cash shop and buy your own template to make your own content.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like the only content you can make is texture stuff.
Yeah.
Which is kind of disappointing, because I sort of wanted to look into it and see what it was all about.
Yeah, if you could actually model something.
Yeah, and the best you can really do is just put new textures on stuff. It's kind of cool in some ways, because you can, like, I've seen characters dressed like Persona characters and stuff, but
yeah,
I don't know.
And you've seen houses that just have big anime titties plastered all over the walls.
But I would have liked something a bit more robust, but I guess we'll find. Maybe they'll add stuff later.
Maybe later on down the line, because a lot of people seem to really like that. A lot of people are actually spending money on that game, so...
Yeah.
And it's for that reason, so it seems pretty nice.
Yeah. And I never really got into the first Maplestory. Like, I played a little bit of it. I may have gotten past, like, the tutorial. Okay. And I was not excited to play this game.
Even a little bit. We had to twist his arm a little bit.
Yeah.
You had to hold off the stream because I hadn't even installed it, even though we were gonna play it that day, because I deadass just forgot about it. And it was surprising. It was fun. I had a fun time playing it. Because it was like Saine was saying, the side distractions are like the best thing in the game. The game doesn't take itself super seriously as a turbo you have to level. It has like a bunch of like bullshit just piled on, and the bullshit is fun to do. There's just a bunch of shit that'll just come up like, hey, want to play some fucking Mario Party in the middle of this quest? You know, you're not on a fucking time limit. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You want to play some fucking Mario Party?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
you want to go to the You want to go to the casino where you can spend your login coins? Here's the casino button. Here it is, right in the top of your screen. Go.
Oh
go
yeah,
to
yeah.
the
You
casino.
don't need to fucking level all the way up to start playing Fashion Story yet. You fucking hate that hat? You can win a fucking hat at the casino, man. You got enough coins. You can do it. You can be fine. You can get yourself a fucking Tiffany too. You can
And
be
that's
good.
another thing. Even a lot of the free outfits, this is a contrast to Maplestory 1. Even a lot of the free outfits are permanent. A lot of the outfits in Maplestory 1 were temporary outfits that you would lose after 7 to 30 days unless you paid an inordinate amount of money to make them a permanent outfit.
That's like
Actually, it was worse than that. The way that it worked was, in the first 2 weeks, you could pay double to get a permanent version of it, but after the 2-week period, you could never do it again, unless it went on a special rotation or something. So and I think the only thing that really rotated again was invisible hats, because those are like kind of good. But yeah, so I don't know. And they actually start you off with some costume stuff too. So like you get like your starter shirt or whatever. It is a costume. It's not an armor piece. So
yeah,
like as
I'm
you're
wearing a
changing
pair
your...
of. They do still have those temporary things, but I browsed the cash shop a little bit. I didn't spend any money, obviously, but I did browse a little bit, and it doesn't seem like there are any temporary things in the cash shop. I think that free drops you get are temporary, and it's like, hey, you want to go buy this permanently from the cash shop, and they give it to you for free, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, here, have a taste of a thing you could have. Ooh.
Yeah, like I'm wearing a pair of wings that I got for free for 30 days or something. So, you know, but that's a much better way to do it than, hey, if you want to look like this for 7 days, you can pay us every week.
Yeah. Oh my god. Fucking
it was
Vindictus
more than
did
7
that
days.
shit.
It was actually 30, but...
And these motherfuckers in Vindictus tantalized me with some fucking what was it? It was like mummy armor or something. It made my character look like a fucking running around with a bunch of scraps of mummy armor. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. I kind of like that. I ain't paying money for that shit though, you bastards. Fuck you, Nexon. Fuck you. This is the best good game you've made.
I actually played. So of the three of us, I easily played the most Maplestory, probably combined.
Oh yeah.
My Maplestory story is horrible. I started out as a mage, and then I ran out of mana once, and I literally never filled up my mana again, ever. Period. It was to the point where I was like whacking things with my wand, and somebody ran by and said, hey, you know you have spells that you can cast, right? And I'm like, no, I fucking don't. Get out of here.
Yeah, by contrast, I also had a mage, and it was my highest level character. I got him to level 82.
Yeah. That was because you got free mana potions from people who mana potions were trivial to buy. And they are certainly not for a low-level character, or were certainly not for a low-level character.
Yeah, the sad thing is, if you can get to level 10, you'll never have to worry about potions again. Like,
yeah,
that's the stupid thing. Eventually, they fixed it anyway, but...
Yeah, but early on, it was awful. And I think they learned from their mistakes in Maplestory 2, because they just give you potions.
Like 100. They give you like 100 potions.
Yeah, to start out with, and then they give you like 4 or 5 potions for every mission you complete. And I'm not playing a mage, but I am playing a character which uses mana, and I get mana back for hitting people. So
I get mana back because I have a reload button on my gun.
Yeah. My mana just recharges. My mana refreshes over time, but so I think different characters have different ways it works too.
Yeah.
One of the nice things about Maplestory is it's stimulating enough to not feel bored, but not too crazy that I feel like I have to pay 100% attention to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still very much like a dick off game, but it's like a dick off game that suddenly like, oh shit, Mario Party's happening, guys. We don't need to go to this. And also, it's not a game that you need to be like 100% with like everyone all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes like for like the last like half of the stream, last time we played it, right?
Yeah.
We were running around and just fucking doing stuff in our houses and doing like the Halloween stuff like separately.
Yeah, and another thing, the player housing is probably the best player housing I've ever interacted with.
We have a friend who just stacked 1,000 beds up in the middle of his house up to the ceiling limit.
That was a good idea.
And I actually made a real house.
I made like what was essentially the outside of a house.
You know what I did was I expanded my house to the biggest it could possibly get, and then I put all the crafting things down in one corner, and that's it.
What I did was I made so I expanded a little bit, made it all nice and pretty looking, and then was like, hey, wait a minute, maybe I should expand my thing to the maximum even if I don't feel like decorating it right now, because if I don't, then I'll lose out on it being free for some reason right now. Right. So I expanded it to the maximum, and now I have one corner where it looks all nice and pretty, and the rest is just blank.
Yeah.
I see. Another thing I think is really cool is I haven't actually gone into any of these, but there are a lot of houses that are like floating around in the middle of towns that are like people have built jumping puzzles and stuff, and that's really cool. Yeah. I don't know. You probably don't get any rewards for it. I don't know if you can put a reward box in your own house or something, but like if you can create your own jumping puzzle, it would be really cool if you could also buy something that would be like a reward box for somebody who completes it. You know. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Or you could just put a house, or you could just put a house in the middle of like a town or whatever, and everybody could just go to it, and like your friends could meet up in it.
Paste it on your walls.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how well. I haven't looked at the player housing like templates for items yet, but
I know that I know for sure that they have posters, and you can retexture all of the like building blocks they have. So.
One of the things that I do like with the monetization of this game, we're a little past that, but I wanted to say because of the anime titties thing. One of the things that I really do like about the monetization is one of the things that you can pay squid dollars or real money coins to buy is you can just put like a fucking meme in the middle of town square so everyone can see it. You can like reserve slots for it, and it's wonderful. Like, yeah, I've never wanted to buy something in a video game more than I want to buy the ability to put the image of Rin Suzuka but with a gun in the middle of town.
Yeah. So they actually have a lot of one with a
the arms came with the gun.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Like auto mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just need to draw a picture of Rin, but like in a mecha suit or something.
I just did like the most easy thing where I took a picture of Rin and then photoshopped like a guy's hand holding a gun just under her a little bit.
Anyway,
like Rayman.
Yeah, I don't know. Surprisingly enjoyed Maplestory. I expected to enjoy it at least a little bit because I played a lot of the first one. But I was surprised how easy it was to get into this game, especially with you guys, who was not sure was gonna really be that interested in it.
I was expecting to go into this and be like, wow, this shit sucks, just like I thought it would. Bye. But no, it's fun, and I like it.
Yeah, which is surprising because it's always hard to get Thel to play games with us. No, it's not. It's always hard to get Thel to play consistent, like, free MMO shit.
Free to play MMOs, yeah.
Yeah, free to play MMOs.
I don't like free to play MMOs for the most part. I really like Vindictus because it was very action oriented.
Yeah.
Guild Wars is just fun as hell.
But that's not free. Well,
it's not free to play.
Actually, it is now.
It is now, yeah.
Well, only the first part of it, but anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, Maplestory good, and I want to point out something that was really smart for the dev team to do, right? So there's all these tools that the players have to like retexture blocks and build stuff in their house and things like that, right? And the reason that players are able to make jumping puzzles and stuff like that is because the tools that they gave to the players for their housing and building that is that it, like, obviously you can tell by looking at it, is the exact same tools that they use to create all of the levels. Like, all of the levels are built out of blocks. So you could just recreate a whole level in your house if you wanted to. And it's really smart on their part because that makes making future maps so easy. Like, they can literally
for the most part, I think there are some items that are obviously like developer items. Like, I think that crane in that one level, like, that's not a thing that you can make, but
that's true, yeah.
So there's a little bit of developer hat being God that you can't touch, but the fact that they let you change so much is pretty good.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, like from their end, if it's that easy to retexture
Right.
blocks for players to do it, like how easy would it be for a developer to do it? And then you can just do something like retexture all of the blocks to be spooky and make a mansion 10 days before Halloween.
Yeah. You can
And
tell
that's-
that
they did.
Cool as hell.
which and Nexon's always been pretty good about events and stuff.
Yeah.
And kind of giving themselves the tools to make it easy to do that stuff is really cool.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it actually
good.
reminds me of EverQuest Next before that got canned.
Yeah.
It seemed like the same kind of idea, but like
Yeah.
actually
Exists.
capable of being realized
game.
because they
Yeah.
you know, actually had some scope on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, is there
Alright.
anything else we want to say about that before we head to a quick break?
The writing isn't very good, but
Who cares? It's
Who
an
gives a
anime game.
fuck?
You
fucking
could
anime
tell
game.
because I haven't read enough of it to actually notice.
The I want to say something. It's a little different than usual. I want to do something real quick. I received a package in the mail today that I've been waiting for like forever, and I already.
Oh,
opened
did
it
your
up.
dildo come?
No, it's my little Tyrion tarot that I supported. It's backwards, of course. It's backwards.
Okay, yeah.
But I just want to show off the cards in it real quick. They're really cool. We got a little deck of legit tarot cards. They've got like, oh shit, I'm dropping them everywhere. They've got like these gold inlaying, and they have really cool Guild Wars art that's all commissioned. Yeah. Like here we have the Empress, which is the Pale Queen. They put a lot of work into it. It came with an art book and everything. That
I haven't even heard of this.
You haven't?
No.
Yeah,
I swear
well,
Dalsson linked it before.
yeah. I told Thel and I told Megan because she's really into tarot cards. But
I actually am too. I actually have 2 decks of tarot cards in my desk.
really, okay. I didn't even know that. But yeah, like so. It's a full tarot deck and it has a bunch of Guild Wars art. It was made by a group called the Guild Wars 2 Artist Commission. It is not it's not an official work, but it is an officially sanctioned work. I heard about it through ArenaNet's website. So yeah, this is like a really cool, and then we have our art book here, which has an explanation of why they chose what characters for what cards and stuff, and has the full art picture. And then, of course, how to read a tarot deck in case you don't.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely fucking don't.
I have messed with tarot cards for actual like more than a decade now.
I
still don't know how to read tarot cards.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, so they did some really fucking phenomenal work. I'm gonna give the shipping 0 out of 10 because I've been waiting for like 8 months for this, but that's okay because they probably got a lot of orders, and I'm pretty sure one person sent them all out. So, but yeah, like the craftsmanship on it is just amazing. Really satisfied with that. And now I'm willing to go to a break.
Here's
That
my
was just
tarot
one
card
thing I
deck.
wanted to get out.
See?
Oh yeah.
Oh, neat. Yeah, just little traditional.
Mine has
cards.
little cats on it.
Yeah.
Oh, cute. I didn't see the
Yeah.
cats.
One thing about tarot cards is supposedly you're supposed to get them as a gift.
Really?
Yeah. Like that's
Huh.
kind of I don't know how much of a rule it is, but it's like I don't know, one of those weird rules that supposed to get a
Right.
tarot card set as a gift,
Huh.
or it's more powerful that way or something like that. Some weird thing.
Something interesting. Didn't know that. But yeah, I wasn't even really interested in the tarot cards themselves. I just kind of wanted to support the
Oh, I
creator
just
in
think
it. Yeah.
even if I wasn't into tarot cards, I'd want them just to look at the cool art.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. They also came with a couple stickers, like there's a Pocket Raptor sticker, like funny little merchandise things. And then there's also a pin in there that is the world completion badge that you would get in the game for having world completion.
Oh, that's funny.
So now I finally have a world completion pin.
Oh, yeah.
It only took 8 years.
And it's not even real.
And it's not even real. Well, technically, it's more real than the one in the game, I guess. But
you know, I guess that's I guess it really depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Anyway, why don't we go to break? What do you think? Like 35 or 40?
Give me till 40.
Okay, we'll be
Give me
back
about
at
10.
5:40.
All right.
Be back in a little bit. All right, we're back. Second half of the show, we're going to talk about games and movie news, of which there is some this time.
Yeah, there's a couple. We got like a few.
There's actually more game stuff than movie stuff. Well, there's some movie stuff now.
Yeah, I've been bussing around looking through the movie stuff and also browsing through Reddit, which I made some very angry faces earlier in the podcast, and that was because I was looking at some of the Reddit's comments talking about Mandy. Don't browse Reddit movies if you want to talk about movies. Don't.
Anyway.
Man said that, man deadass said that slasher movies, and I quote, modernized the genre of horror in the 80s because all of the movies up to the late 70s, horror movies he meant, were campy science fiction movies. Like, he's talking about the bitches from the 40s and the 50s. Like Attack of the Giant Woman.
Okay.
I've never been so embarrassed for a human being.
Anyway. Well, why don't we start with games, since a lot of this relates to what we were talking about.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so I think what happened, like, what I was saying earlier, Dalsson, is, we talked a little bit about Discord having a store, but we didn't actually get to see it until this week. So, this last Tuesday.
Okay. Right.
So why don't we talk about the Discord store and the changes to Nitro?
Okay, so... first off, changes to Nitro. I think I'm the only one here who actually has Discord Nitro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Unless
so
the same does.
No,
previously,
I don't have
previously Discord Nitro allowed you to use emotes from any server in any server you wanted, and a animated icon if you so chose, and then the knowledge that you were supporting Discord, which I wanted the animated icon, but I don't really use it anymore. So
Wow.
But I stayed subscribed to Nitro, and I got a pretty good perks out of that, because as of the launch of the store, they have split Nitro into 2 separate categories. They have Nitro Classic, which is the previous animated icon and emotes thing, and then what is now called Discord Nitro, which essentially is a subscription service for the games that they will be putting onto the free Nitro, free with Nitro thing. These include games like the Trine series, Psychonauts, because that's in everything. There's Wasteland 2,
Super Meat Boy,
System
Shock. There's a bunch of stuff.
There's a bunch of like really good games. It's not all just shitty things nobody's ever heard about. Not to say that things nobody's heard about are particularly always shitty, but there's a bunch of like not AAA titles or anything, but
it's not just like a phone game store, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And then of course the actual store has like it even has AAA titles on it right now.
There's actually more stuff on Nitro that I didn't even know about, like high quality screen sharing, larger file upload limit, 50 megabytes instead of 8, and
interesting.
And you can change your number tag at the end of your name.
Ah, yes, right. That's why my number tag is 6969. Forgot about that.
Of course it is.
The Discord store also launched with 5 games that are exclusive to Discord as of the moment. So first on Discord, not exclusive.
And we talked about those last week.
We talked about Minion Master, or I talked about Minion Masters this week. I haven't tried any of the other ones because none of them are free. Yeah. So you guys were kind of like neutral on the idea of a Discord having a store. I think that like they've come out with it now. I think it looks pretty good, you know.
Yeah. I I'm actually a little bit more positive on it now that I see it, because I don't know, like, having this subscription service is a different value add than I was expecting. I was thinking it was just, I don't know, like Green Man Gamer, it was just going to be another intermediary or something.
Yeah.
Or,
And the thing is,
or it was going to
Nitro,
be, or it was just going to be another client, which would be even worse.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, also, the thing about the free games with Nitro, if you were subscribed to Discord Nitro when they launched the store, they gave you all of those games for free without having to upgrade your Discord subscription for 2 years. So that's nice. It's like a way to say thanks, for supporting us before this added value,
What was the cost of it before? Did it used to be $5 or did it used to be $10?
It used to be $4.99. Now if you want to include the games after the fact, it's $9.99, or they still have the basic Nitro, which is still the same price.
Right. Okay. And then they also have like this universal library thing, which is like a basically it'll be better. It'll be better at or if you give it permission to scan your computer. That's kind of an important point.
Yes, that is important.
Then it'll
there's a button that says scan for games that you have to press.
Yeah, and I think you have to agree to terms of use or something too, probably. And then it'll like upload and download for you through the client rather than having to, or to launch something like Steam and stuff like that. So
yeah, if you look at the library thing, it'll even say, like, tell you what platform it's on. Like I have Minion Masters on Discord and Quake Champions on Steam, and League of Legends just says not applicable. Guild Wars 2 not applicable. So but it looks like, since it knows the platform, it also looks like you could maybe launch your Uplay games and shit through Discord. Like, it'll all be in one place, your Steam and your Uplay and your fucking whatever the Activision one is.
Yeah.
That one's battle.net.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my point is, it's kind of nice. I used the launcher to launch my Steam games before, because rather than typing in Steam, opening up Steam, I could just click play on Discord and it would launch Steam for me.
Yeah,
it was like one less step. It was nice before. Now it's like
they made it better.
Combines it all in. Yeah, they made it better.
I liked the idea of keeping my chat client separate from my games, but I think that now that I'm seeing kind of some of the changes they've made, I'm like opening up to the idea a little bit better.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know, like, part of me just feels like if I want to launch a Steam game, I'll launch Steam. If I want to play Overwatch, I'll launch Blizzard. I don't know.
Right.
And that's sort of how I feel on it too. I'm probably not going to use this primarily, but I do kind of definitely like the fact that they just, hey, you know how Discord Nitro was a thing that you could buy and that a lot of people liked? Well, now you can do it again, and this time you can get free games. It's like the opposite of what Twitch did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like here's the exact same service for the exact same price, or you can upgrade the service for twice the price and get a bunch of free games. Like,
oh yeah, well, and that's the thing. I am certain when the Discord guys saw the fucking controversy about the Twitch Prime thing with Amazon, they were like,
no, I highly doubt. I highly doubt, because I think the part of what makes Discord so successful is it is so specifically geared towards gamers that like the people at the top
make it are.
Yeah, the people at the top are making decisions about how to do things from a gamer's perspective. So I think that this is actually I think it's more comparable to something. I think it's more comparable to something like Humble, the Humble Bundle or Monthly or whatever, Humble Monthly.
Yeah. Right.
And I think that's a better business model for them than just being like, here's another store. So
yeah.
Now, unfortunately, I do want to say one unfortunate thing. It doesn't work any different than any other subscription service, but if you stop paying for Nitro, you do lose access to those games until you pay for Nitro again.
You don't lose access to cloud saves though.
Don't lose access to cloud saves.
Which is like the only people who do that, by the way.
Yeah, that's nice.
Or maybe it's not maybe it's not cloud saves, but it's like local saves stay there.
You lose access to the free games. Of course, if you purchase the game, then that game is there.
Yeah.
Like, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There's still something about not wanting to have another store, because it is still another store. But at the same time, like, having the subscription service stuff makes it an easier pill to swallow to take taking another store.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, you guys were saying Saine were saying, I think, that you didn't want to have your chat client tied to your game launcher. I hold the exact opposite opinion, because the first thing that I want to do when I launch my computer is open up my chat program and see who's online. So that's going to be the first program that's running. Therefore, if I can launch things through the first program that I start up, it's good for me. And I know that is obviously just varies person to person, but that's the reason that I like it as a launcher.
You know, I honestly wouldn't use Discord nearly as much if it had a worse mobile client, but I think its mobile client is the best mobile chat that I've ever used.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so if it worked even half as well, I might still be using Skype.
Yeah.
Discord, good. Thanks, Discord.
Yeah,
we wanted a good chat client. If you're a gamer and you want to chat, use Discord. If you're not a gamer and you want to chat, use Discord. Use Discord. It's good.
Just good. It's good. Yeah.
It works. It works good. Better than everyone else.
Yeah. Unless you have a shitty microphone, and then in which case you probably do want to use Skype, but
yeah. But even like
that's
okay
like the one use case.
Yeah. Even like an okay microphone is acceptable for Discord.
I don't know. Webcam microphones kind of really suck. Like, laptop built-in microphones really kind of suck on Discord, but...
Well, yeah, but then that's not an okay microphone.
Yeah, but that's serviceable enough for Skype, though, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think the biggest difference is, like...
But if you've got, like, a headset, you know...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I am likely to launch Discord if I were to launch something like Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd probably launch Discord before Steam, but also I wouldn't necessarily launch Discord as soon as I get on the computer either, because sometimes I don't. But being so tied into mobile, like, a lot of times I do just launch Discord just because.
Right.
But anyway, Discord good. Let's move on. Is there anything else I want to... Oh, yeah. Why don't we talk about this, since it's kind of in the same vein? Do you guys know about Loot Crate, right?
Yes.
Yes. I know of it, yes. I've never gotten a Loot Crate.
I ordered a Loot Crate once, and I think I got the best Loot Crate they ever made.
Oh, good. It was like the Alien one.
Yeah.
Well, Loot Crate is also now doing a indie blind box subscription service for $10 a month.
So it's just Humble Monthly. It's just Humble Monthly. Loot Crate made Humble
Actually,
Monthly.
I think it's cheaper than Humble Monthly, but because I think Humble Monthly is 15. No, it's 12. But the problem with it is or the difference is Humble Monthly has more like AAAs, where this is specifically indie games. And the first month is going to be Crossing Souls, and then 4 other mystery games.
They couldn't have picked any other of the fucking mystery games? Just pick a good one of your mystery games. If Crossing Souls is the best you got, nobody's gonna fucking pay for this shit.
Do you even remember what Crossing Souls is?
Yeah, it was that game that was like... Oh wait, no. Okay,
Yeah,
I was thinking of a
you
different
go.
one. That's the.
It's like the 80s game that has nothing to do. It is not a Souls-like even remotely. Yes, that game.
I was thinking of the one where you had a bow, and there were 3 bosses, and you paid $40.
Oh
to
no,
buy
that's
the game.
Titan Quest.
Yeah, Titan Souls.
Titan
I was
Souls,
thinking
yeah.
of Titan Souls. See,
Yeah,
that would have
it's-
been a bad
It's
option.
Crossing Souls, which is like a story-based kind of beat 'em up 80s nostalgia bait game.
Right. I remember
Okay.
being interested in that one. That's fair.
I feel like
I have that on
Oh.
Steam already.
that honestly feels like exactly what I would expect from like an 80s nostalgia beat 'em up game is like, yeah, new Loot Crate's launching with that, less a fucking Humble Monthly with that. Yeah, that sounds right. Sounds about
Yeah.
right.
Now, the only reason I really wanted to bring this up, though, is while it's kind of notable that it is Loot Crate, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to talk about just... This is the second one in a week that we've seen doing this kind of game subscription service. And I think a lot of it had to do, I think, with the Xbox Game Pass doing it, because before then there were stuff like Humble Monthly and stuff. But what do you guys think about that? Because it just feels like if everybody's trying to do a game subscription service, then there's only so many games that you're gonna do that. Like I cannot imagine a person subscribing to like 3 of them, right?
Yeah,
Right.
That sort of reminds me of the fucking article that I'm pretty sure we might have very well talked about on the podcast.
We definitely did.
The fucking you know exactly where I'm going with this because I mentioned it multiple times because it's been brought up a billion times. Multiple Netflix subscription services are driving people back to piracy.
But
yeah,
the difference with the gaming thing is that when you subscribe to these, most of the time when you subscribe to these, you get to keep the games. Some of them you don't. But
and also
you
they're
want
not
to-
exactly exclusives.
yeah, and they're
Where
not.
you can
exclusive.
always go into like a store and buy the game like you would normally be able to.
Right.
Exactly. So like if you
Well,
just-
actually, not exactly in the case of Humble Monthly, because I think Humble Monthly does do exclusive ones through
Wow.
them too. But
really
yeah, they're kind of like small games,
right.
and I think eventually they do make it
Yeah,
to the
I'm-
Humble store. But I think there is a period of like exclusivity.
Well, still, like one of the reasons to support Humble Bundle is because of the charity thing.
Charity
One
aspect
of the
it.
reasons to buy a Discord subscription is because you want to support Discord and you want the other perks that come with it too. So, it like I feel like with the multiple subscription service, they're trying to get value off on making exclusive shows, which is just pissing people off because they have to subscribe to all of these things if they want to see all of these shows. Whereas with something like Discord Nitro, you don't know what game you're going to get, but it's probably a game that you've heard of or is out already that you could have just bought. And it's exciting to get free games because you might get games that you've never tried before.
And it's like owning, not renting.
Yeah, that too.
Because like Netflix is like renting all of these shows, right? Because as soon as you leave,
pretty
you don't have
much.
access anymore.
Yeah.
I think the only thing in terms of like multiple subscription services is I know a lot of people who are like, one of them subscribes to Netflix, one of them subscribes to Hulu, one of them subscribes to HBO, and they all share.
Yeah.
So
That works.
you know, like I think that's kind of, you know, pooling is kind of what I think is happening.
Yeah. Which
The
Netflix
most.
is like, okay, don't share your Netflix account.
They never said
Only
that.
with your yeah.
They're like, don't share your Netflix account.
No,
but
they never
here's-
said that. They're just like,
Really?
yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, oh, people are sharing Netflix accounts. Well, let's give a tier that increases the number of simultaneous broadcasts. Like,
Oh, yeah,
that's how they
right.
reacted to it.
That's right, yeah. So you can pay more to share more.
See, and
Yeah.
and that's what
That
made
makes
Netflix
sense.
so successful is they followed like Gabe Newell's idea of piracy as a service problem.
Yeah.
And they
Right.
Netflix tried to increase their service as much as possible.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and I think even to this day, most people would probably consider Netflix the best bang for your buck out of all of these.
Yeah,
for sure.
So-
definitely. Oh shoot, I didn't this is dead ass
What?
a piece of news that I did not post in this that I ran across earlier this week. You mind if I talk about it real quick?
Sure, we can move on to that real fast.
It's gaming, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's-
it's gaming
okay.
specifically. After the release of the new anyway, CitizenCon happened. The Star Citizen convention.
Oh,
And
no.
after the release of the new trailer for Squadron 42, which showed off more of the voice actors in a cutscene, They got $1 million again. Yeah, and also, what was it? Squadron 42 is set to be released on 2019, just like it was set to release in 2018, 2017, and 2016.
I see.
Unfortunately, it was not 2015 and 2014 because those were when Star Citizen was going to release.
Right, of course.
Maybe someday they'll come out. Anyway.
Maybe someday they'll have a game.
Maybe
they'll
someday.
catch up to fucking No Man's Sky, the joke of the century.
Yeah, seriously, No Man's Sky was like the fucking.
I think that the problem with No Man's Sky was it was just lies. It was a card of tower of lies. You know better than maybe most people what Star Citizen is right now, and it's not. It is what it is, right? But it's not like false promises. It's like
they haven't exactly,
unattained promises. It's kind of different.
Yeah.
They haven't exactly implemented anything that is straight up lied about. They just haven't implemented all of those things that they said they were going to.
But they're still supposedly working on it. So
and you gotta remember, Freelancer was originally going to be a massive MMO like EVE Online,
such as the capability of playing the game.
Yeah. Then Chris Roberts had to go to Microsoft, and they told him, "What the fuck are you doing? Stop that! No, here, stop! No! You're releasing it as this, so we can get it fucking released, you dumbass." And then he went to make movies, and they were all terrible.
I don't know.
As one does.
Yeah, as one does.
We need to speed up a little bit though, because there is a lot of gaming news that I want to actually dig into a little bit. So I'm gonna kill some of the stuff that is just doesn't really matter that much. Maplestory 2 celebrates 1 million players because they got an they underestimated the number of players that they got.
Damn.
Following the release on Steam.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
They're actually in particular the Oceanic servers. They're continually adding more and more of those.
Oh, that's understandable.
So, in addition to Maplestory 2 being kind of fun, it's also pretty damn lucrative, apparently.
Yeah.
They're even apparently giving it away. Well, over the weekend, they gave away 500 cash shop coins, which is actually a substantial amount. You could buy 2 or 3 cosmetics with that.
Yeah.
Which is something that Nexon, I don't think, has ever fucking done before in their entire lives.
No, they've done that before.
Okay.
I played a lot of Maplestory. They've done shit like that before.
Okay, well, that's cool.
Okay, next thing.
Unfortunately, that's over.
Yeah.
Path of Exile on PS4. This is kind of a rumor sort of deal, but there's a new rating that suggests that they're going to release it on the PlayStation 4. About a year ago, it made it to the Xbox One, but it hasn't yet made it to the PS4. So.
Yeah. The Digital Game Rating Committee in Taiwan posted a listing for Path of Exile on PS4. It makes sense because Tencent recently acquired a majority stake, so Tencent would probably want them to branch out and give them the funding to do so. So
yeah. Man.
It's
majority
a
share.
Substantial rumor.
Giving majority share to Tencent though seems like a terrible idea.
I don't think they gave it to them. I think they just got an offer they couldn't refuse.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Letting that happen just seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
According to the community manager, their contract with Tencent states that Tencent will be able to test whatever not contract.
Okay, do you know what?
Agreement.
I'm going to just cut you off because later on we have a story about Oculus, so remember when Oculus said Facebook could do whatever or Facebook said Oculus could do whatever they want? Yeah. That's an issue.
Yeah. Well, the agreement is Tencent gets to tell them to develop whatever they want for the Chinese servers, and then if they like it, they can put it in the American servers, and if they don't, it stays on the Chinese servers.
Huh. All right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. Tencent hasn't been too frustrating to deal with in League of Legends, so
Yeah, that's just Riot that's frustrating to deal with.
Yeah. Anyway, the next thing. Hold on, give me a second.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Spider-Man New Game Plus.
Excellent.
Boy. About darn time.
Give me 1 second though.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Alright.
Yeah, so this is not brand new, and there was already talk about this, but in addition to releasing its first DLC, which it kind of just did, which features the Black Cat, they also added a New Game Plus mode and introduced an ultimate difficulty option, so like an even harder difficulty, as well as new trophies.
Right. Which are for completing New Game Plus and completing the highest difficulty. But if you already had the Platinum Trophy, the trophies are in a different category, so it's not going to remove your Platinum Trophy, if you care about that, but who does?
Yeah.
Lots of people.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, Spider-Man is, like, one of the first games I've even remotely, gotten that close to platinuming or getting all of the achievements for anything, so...
Right.
And I still need to go back for that, and New Game Plus would be nice because you can... There's a lot of shit that you can't get, or that you can only get during specific parts of the game, so it would be nice
right. So you'd have to play New Game Plus, really.
Not exactly, but it would make it easier.
Right.
Yeah, and that Black Cat DLC looks kind of cool too, but I might wait for like more than one to come out because I heard, not that it was short, but it kind of leaves on a cliffhanger, so it'd be nice to play more than one together. Even though they haven't been explicit with talking about how many DLCs they're going to have.
Right.
The next thing I want to talk about is that ongoing Telltale thing.
Oh boy. Oh yeah.
So remember how we were talking about Skybound Studios buying the rights to Walking Dead because they're like Robert Kirkman's actual company?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Apparently during an AMA, they were talking about how their intention was to hire all of the Telltale staff back to finish The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, that's a good idea, I guess.
So Telltale basically laid off everyone when they
Yeah.
were closing, essentially, except for a small group of people, but then even that got scrapped. Skybound picked up the rights to Walking Dead, picked it back up, and then their intention was to hire all of the laid off Telltale staff. That's kind of crazy, isn't it?
That's really cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad about that.
I mean, like, I only really got to experience the first episode of the Walking Dead game, but it's, it's like, if the people did good work and you're trying to bring back or like finish up the work they did, then hiring those people is really the only option.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's like, I was talking about this, like, before the whole Walking Dead thing. It's like, hey guys, I even said it on the podcast. Did you guys hear that the last season of The Walking Dead is actually apparently really good? The last 2 seasons kind of sucked, but this one's apparently great. It has gameplay and everything.
Impossible.
Apparently there's some gameplay in it, which is exciting. And I haven't played it, unfortunately, but...
I haven't played the second one either.
Right.
Those are ones that you kind of have to play in order because it has been one continuous story.
Yeah. I played like the first episode of the second season, and that's about as far as I got.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, the last piece of gaming news, which I want to spend a little bit of time on, is this is kind of... I'm just going to write Oculus news.
Okay.
This is kind of a big thing. So Facebook is canceling the Oculus Rift 2.
What would the Oculus... I want to stop you right there. What would the Oculus Rift 2 be?
Like a straight up improvement of the PC version of the headset. That's better, like better screens, better tracking, and that sort of thing. This has been a thing that's been planned for a long time.
Yeah.
And then they just cancel it.
Trash.
On top of that, one of the co-founders, his name is God, where is it? It's something Iribe. I can't pronounce this guy's name.
Brendan Iribe.
Brendan Iribe, I guess. He was one of the co-founders. There's 2 co-founders left, but now he and Palmer Luckey have stepped down from Oculus. You know, he was kind of talking about being cordial and stuff, but there's been a lot of leaked information, and TechCrunch had sources talking about that there were fundamental different views of the future of Oculus that grew deeper over time, and he wasn't interested in a race to a bottom.
Right.
Race to the bottom. So, you know, it sounds like there was a lot of stuff in the background, and this is kind of exactly what everyone was worried about when Oculus sold to Facebook.
Yeah. Yep.
Oculus is basically turning into, you know, kind of cheaper, but I don't know, the Oculus Go and the Oculus Quest that have come out are kind of
bad versions. Yeah.
Not, well, I mean, I hesitate to say bad versions because the Oculus Quest, which
like
is $400, is a standalone headset that has 6 degrees of freedom, so you don't need any additional trackers. It basically, the headset tracks from the inside out, and it works pretty well from what I've heard. But because it's all internal, it doesn't connect to the computer, and so you're basically playing mobile apps on it,
right?
Which just isn't the same.
Yeah, it's not.
I
bought one of
it's like the fucking Google Cardboard.
Yeah, I bought one of those cheap ass cardboard headsets, and it works pretty decently on your phone, but there's only so much you can do with it.
Yeah.
I want to play computer games with it.
I deadass hacked my phone to get it to work with computer games.
Yeah, I did too, but that didn't work very well.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, it sounds like they're still talking about iterating on the Oculus hardware, but like the Oculus Rift 2 was this thing that was kind of a future point that everyone was expecting to happen eventually, and they talked about it happening, and it was in development forever, and now it's suddenly gone. Like, that's just weird. Like, that doesn't... I don't know. If anything, it leaves more room for Steam VR as a platform to grow. And even Windows Mixed Reality, which Samsung is just releasing like an updated version of their Windows Mixed Reality headset for $500. So, like, it just might end up that, you know, Oculus is the standalone cheapo mobile version of this, and Steam VR is the actual game side of it, which is almost a flip in what you would expect, like, only a couple years ago.
Yeah, really.
Thanks, Facebook. Go work, Mark Zuckerberg, you fuck.
Yeah, if I didn't have enough reasons to fucking hate you.
Yeah, I'm sure that I'm certain that what happened was Mark Zuckerberg came in the door, kicked it in with a shotgun, and put it down the dude's nose. He's like, "Fucking quit!" That's what happened. 100%. Now you know.
Definitely.
I think
I was there.
I think this is the thing that's actually going to make me actually close my Facebook account.
Oh, good.
Like, I already haven't been using it, but now I like really...
But now you, like, actively dislike Facebook.
Yeah, I have such a bad taste in my mouth, and it's like, I don't know.
I just don't Facebook. Why do you have to do all of these bad things? And it's, you know, it's the best thing, my favorite thing to me, and it was a line in fucking, dead-ass line in 8th grade. The kids that's coming up, them Generation Z kids, they don't fucking use Facebook. They don't use that shit because they think that shit's dumb as hell. They're too busy using Twitter and fucking Snapchat. And you know what? The kids are all right. They're doing just fine.
Yeah, really.
I'm
like,
happy for them.
I work with a lot of Gen Z kids, and they're like, I've never heard the words Facebook in my workplace.
It's really funny. It's really funny how quickly Facebook turned into the social media for old people. You know?
Yeah, it really is. It was like, it took it like 2 years and that's it. Times changed, bitch.
Well, it doesn't help that
Blockbuster.
Facebook every 2 years or something seems to fuck up on a monumental level.
Yeah, like on a fucking unprecedented
Like, just
scale.
recently, they lost, like, all data. Like, all of Facebook's data they lost to, like, scrapers or something.
Seriously, like, Jesus Christ. It's ridiculous. Like, when was the last time that you heard a social media company got brought to the fucking Supreme Court? Never.
Well, it wasn't
You know what-
Supreme
you know what
Court.
I
It was
really
actually
hope-
Congress, but...
know what I really
and actually,
hope-
Twitter
well-
went too, but...
Did they? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, well.
Actually,
this is something that-
Google was like, no, we don't want to show up. So Google
Oh!
just didn't come.
Yeah.
Google's just like, we're not coming.
Yeah.
And they
So,
were like, oh, okay.
So, long story short, and this is something that he doesn't do specifically because that's how it worked with the girl with the dragon tattoo and why he's not doing that. I really hope that, like, David Fincher secretly has, like, his pet project name for the social network too is, the fucking, World War Z 2, and that's just, like, a fucking name to keep the press off of his back.
It's actually the fall of Facebook.
He's actually just been working with Jesse Eisenberg on the fall of Facebook. He's just been following this, and like every time something has happened, he's like, "Oh, fuck yeah!"
He's like,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
we have to delay the movie a little bit.
Boys,
longer.
call the writing team.
It's like every 2 years, it's like, shit, here comes another massive rewrite.
Yeah.
Have to
We
keep
just
delaying
need to
this movie.
extend the ending.
It comes out,
Oh,
it's
man.
like a 6-hour movie. It's like Lawrence of Arabia or some shit.
Yeah, Lawrence of Arabia is only 4. It's like eventually Mark Zuckerberg kills himself, and he's like, "Finally, I can end my movie.
It's over.
It's over."
Anyway,
Boys, fire the writing team.
why don't we move
Anyway.
on?
Okay.
So the next thing, we're going to move on to movie news, and the first thing is
Oh,
this
right.
Netflix Marvel thing.
Oh yeah,
that
the
news.
saddest fucking news. My favorite thing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe just got canceled. So a couple weeks ago, we talked about how Iron Fist was canceled. It was canceled because not actually because Iron Fist was suck and everyone hated, but because Netflix and Disney have been butting some fucking heads. They have been not getting along very well. And this has sort of boiled over into these two cancellations.
So actually, though, I read other articles conflicting some of the information in this.
Really?
Yeah, the weird thing is, so apparently, according to the contracts, Netflix actually has a lot of final say for a lot of this shit. So it's not just Marvel Disney fighting with Netflix. A lot of it is just Netflix doesn't want to invest as much money into these shows as they used to either. So it's kind of an issue on two fronts. It's not just the Disney Marvel issues. It's also that Netflix themselves don't want to fund it as much.
Yeah.
That being
Especially
said,
when
there was
they're like,
this Luke Cage one in particular is really weird because it was so popular and it rated really well that it's really surprising. Nobody expected this one to be canceled. Everyone expected Iron Fist to be canceled. Jessica Jones at this point is still on track for being a third season, and
that's really fucking strange that they would cancel Luke Cage and not Jessica Jones. Like,
I'm not surprised. I think
like
Jessica Jones is weirdly more popular than anybody kind of realizes.
maybe.
I think it's actually super high in ratings, but people talk about it less.
Weird. Luke Cage is just like Luke Cage and Daredevil are the fucking Star Child shows, if you ask me, out of the series. Like I like all of them except Iron Fist, but Luke Cage and Daredevil are just, and like it was funny because I remember when we said Iron Fist got canceled, we were like, okay, well probably what's gonna happen is Danny Rand's gonna be in Luke Cage now.
Yeah.
And that's the other one that got canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unless they decide to actually make a Heroes for Hire, which is kind of an ensemble cast, like, I don't know.
And it would be weird to make like a Heroes for Hire after where Luke Cage ended off.
Yeah, it really would.
So, yeah, as for Jessica Jones, like, I think that the thing about Jessica Jones is it's probably the most popular because she's the least superhero-y of all of them. So I
So,
think
like
she
one of the
actually.
reasons I said I really liked Luke Cage was it was like The Wire, but there's a superhero who shows up every once in a while.
Right, but if you compare kind of everyone's relative strengths, Jessica Jones is just a girl who breaks doorknobs a lot.
Yeah, she's super strong.
Like 90% of her stuff is actually the PI shit.
Yeah, Luke Cage is just as strong as her and more.
So I think Jessica Jones just surfaces on more searches, and because it's a female lead, it has kind of something like an X factor a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see
so
that.
I that's why I think that it's probably more popular than people expect. But
Right.
And I don't know, the way that I've seen people talk about Jessica Jones from a like business standpoint, it sounds like that one's always been very highly watched. So I don't know. That being said, I mean, fuck, next week, like tomorrow, we could find out Jessica Jones 3 is canceled.
Yeah, like this is crazy.
I like of all of them, I did not expect Luke Cage to be canceled.
Yeah,
I really didn't.
And even the third season was supposed to be trimmed down from 13 episodes to 10. And again, I think that was because of budget reasons on Netflix's end. But they were trying to make it work, and then there's been so much creative differences that it just apparently it was too much.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That makes me sad because I loved Luke Cage. It was great.
Yeah.
Darn.
It was really good.
Really good.
And the woman heading off Jessica Jones season 3 is going to go to WB afterwards. So after season 3 of Jessica Jones, that's it for Jessica Jones 2.
Yeah.
So unless they do, and there's been they said that there's no talk for doing another Defenders, but if suddenly they have 3 canceled shows, Netflix still owns all of the rights to these characters, which I believe is the case.
Right.
Then even like independent of how they handle Daredevil, like they might just make a Heroes for Hire thing, because I don't know what else they would do other than cancel it entirely.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like where fucking Iron Fist left off, like it sort of like it's made sense in that they weren't planning to like the way that it left off. It's like, okay, we're not going to do a Luke Cage before a Defenders, so it wasn't surprising that there wasn't plans for another Defenders, because it felt like they could just do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, it just. I mean, I suppose like season 2, that's a good place you can leave Luke Cage as like an ending for him,
like as straight up as an ending for that story that they told. I think that is a good ending, but I
think it was going to go into some interesting, fun places.
Yeah, when I finished it, I thought for sure they were going to make more, and clearly they were going to.
Yeah.
But it's not like.
It could be
not
worse.
like you can't.
It's not like the end of Firefly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where they just like
where
ended up at the end
straight
of
up had to make a movie to finish it because that was their only choice.
Because the ending was just like the season finale for season 1.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, if the idea is to consolidate a little bit and make maybe 2 shows, Daredevil and then everyone else, that would save money. If you're making one show with a bunch of effects, you only need like 1 writing team and 1 effects team and whatever. So maybe that it would, like, from a money standpoint, even if 1 show costs more than what the standard 1 show, maybe it would still cost less than 3 different shows. I don't know. Maybe that's what the plan is. All of these 3 characters are very heavily interlinked. Jessica Jones eventually marries Luke Cage, and Luke Cage's best friend is Danny Rand. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm like I keep thinking about that, right? Like if they just started up on Heroes for Hire without a Luke Cage like fucking second season, Luke Cage just comes back for Heroes for Hire. Hey guys, how's it going? Where have you been? Oh, I was just having a moral conundrum, but I got better.
Well, I mean, you could still wrap that up into the thing.
Yeah,
it could be like Daredevil, where the end of the season 1 of Daredevil, he got his super suit. You know what I mean? Like,
that would be cool as hell.
You know what I find funny about all of those shows is in Daredevil, he gets his super suit, and Daredevil's the only one. But every single other one of them teased their super suits. Like Jessica Jones's friend is like, "How do you like this?" And Jessica Jones is like, "I am never putting that thing on in my life.
I hate it. It's awful.
I hate it." And Luke Cage, like one of the like fucking street dealers, like made a costume for him, and he's like, "That looks dumb."
No, Luke Cage. It was actually his outfit when he escaped the prison.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Actually, I think season 2 of Iron Fist, he does actually wear a costume reminiscent of his comic book thing. But I actually haven't watched Iron Fist season 2, even though it's supposedly better.
But Daredevil's costume, straight up, I mean, that's just the Daredevil costume.
Oh yeah.
You know what? You know what'd be nice if Heroes for Hire like had the first season where Luke Cage was the villain. That'd be cool as hell.
Yeah. That'd be an interesting take.
I don't know. I mean, like, the whole season could just be about how that Heroes for Hire forms. Yeah. And then at the end of season 1 of that, they just go into another season of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's no way these characters' personalities don't conflict in ways, so it would be fun to watch regardless.
Yeah. Well, here's my question. Do we still get Frank?
Frank Castle?
Yeah.
I would think fucking Marvel would try to scrape for that motherfucker as much as they could.
feel like it really could go either way with Punisher season 2, because I think Punisher season 1 wrapped things up in a really coherent way.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you did more of him, it would just be like, let's find an excuse to make Punisher kill people. Whereas before it was like, at the end of Punisher, it's like, okay, he accomplished what he set out to accomplish. Everything is kind of done now, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. But I mean, I don't think it takes much to make Punisher kill people.
Yeah, I was going to say most Punisher comics are just, let's find an excuse to make Punisher kill people.
Punisher's fucking pissed that the Kingpin is selling drugs.
Yeah.
To kids.
So he has to join
Kingpin
Punisher gang.
Frank Castle's really pissed that Kingpin exists.
Yeah. Frank Castle saw crime happen. It's time for gun.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen Daredevil season 3, even though I think it just came out.
Yeah, it just came out. We haven't seen it either.
But I mean, like, Kingpin... I don't know where Kingpin is at the end of Daredevil season 1, so it could be that Daredevil ends in a way that leaves off Kingpin being in a better shape, and then Daredevil comes in for the next season following that. So,
what do you? Well, at the beginning of the trailer for it was all about Kingpin's out of jail and he's a mogul again. So
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Daredevil
he could
him
end
up.
Like, yeah.
I mean, at the end of Daredevil, Kingpin could just win.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Kingpin just won at the end of season 3 of Daredevil, and then the next thing that deals with Kingpin is Frank Castle.
Yeah, and that was one of the things about Luke Cage, is like the villain of Luke Cage almost kind of sort of did win.
Yeah,
like it basically left Cage with this huge fucking moral conundrum that he had to deal with. You got problems, man.
And I feel
take them.
And I feel like the Netflix series are not afraid to let the villain win.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
At least for a season, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there was a lot of that. I wanted to talk about that in length, but we are, well, I think we're doing okay-ish on time, but let's try to go maybe a little bit faster.
Okay, yeah.
Good idea.
So Zane, do you want to talk about this next one? Because I actually don't know anything about it.
Yeah, just a quick thing. Funimation and Crunchyroll are breaking up.
Why OTP?
So basically, AT&T purchased or is merging with, who was it again? Is it Time Warner and AT&T?
Yeah,
Time Warner.
Well, whoever it is, Funimation is owned by Sony, and they don't like that.
Yeah.
So Funimation is pulling back their or not renewing their dual licensing rights to Verve and Crunchyroll, because those are both owned by Warner Media. It's AT&T and Warner Media.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, which is Time Warner, right? So now they're moving to a different thing called High Dive, which is a relatively new streaming service I have never heard of.
I don't really understand why they're moving to a different thing. Like the cross licensing made sense because they were cross licensed, right? But why, if they're breaking a contract already, why would Funimation be moving to a different thing? Funimation has a streaming service on their own website.
They're not breaking a contract. They're not renewing, which I think is a important distinction. But
fair enough. But my question still stands. Why would they?
Because High Dive is
their own?
High Dive is a Crunchyroll competitor, so they have anime that is more than just Funimation. I think Funimation's problem is while Funimation has a lot of really good shows, they are just one studio, so it makes it kind of a hard sell to be just Funimation, to subscribe to just Funimation, which some people do that, but like, again, for the same reasons we're talking about too many streaming services, it just sort of makes sense to consolidate for certain cross-licensing stuff.
Okay, that's fair.
There is 2 exceptions. My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan will continue on Crunchyroll.
Okay.
But they don't specify how long or how many future seasons. But those 2 in particular are going to remain on Crunchyroll. So
okay.
I mean, those are the big ones too. So
that's why they probably got special contract stuff for just those. So
yeah.
And that's all that's really about. It's just Crunchyroll is no longer my best friend. My new best friend is High Dive.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Pinocchio,
next one. Yeah. Guillermo del Toro is finally going to be making the Pinocchio movie he's wanted to make for 12 billion years, but the Warner Brothers wouldn't let him. He's going to be working with fucking the Jensen Company and its puppetry, and it's going to be co-written by Patrick McFucking Hale.
Over the Garden Wall
guy, yeah.
Oh my god!
Uh-huh. It's been a long time coming, but he finally came. Our man Guillermo del Toro can do whatever the fuck he wants, finally. After all these years of promising he's going to release movies and then having Warner Brothers shit all over him, he can now do the things that he wanted. So with this, I'm also excited for is after this movie releases, him announcing he's going to make his Frankenstein movie and his In the Mountains of Madness movie.
I mean, he's been on a good roll. He was like, Fishman movie, check. Pinocchio movie,
boom,
check.
Congratulations. Yeah, he fucking won. He dead-ass won the Oscar for Best Film for that motherfucker. I'm happy as hell. I mean, I didn't even think that movie deserved it, but I think that Guillermo del Toro deserved it. You know what I'm saying?
I thought it deserved it. It was a really good movie.
Yeah. Oh, it was a really good movie. Don't get me wrong. But yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Do you want to do this next one?
Patrick.
Fucking Patrick McHale.
Hey,
yeah.
Make sure that there's one that's not embedded. Make sure you read that one because I'm excited about that one.
Oh yeah, right. So, Sci-Fi is going to be making a Killer Klowns from Outer Space and Critters remakes. By that I mean, they're going to be Sci-Fi original movies.
I don't give a shit about Critters, but Killer Klowns from Outer Space can only work as a Sci-Fi original movie. If you took Killer Klowns from Outer Space and tried to make it good, let me tell you.
I think
that'd be a bad idea.
I think you guys are being a little too hard on Sci-Fi original movies. Like, yes, there are some that are like especially bad that they don't really put much budget in and they don't care about. But there are other ones that they do try a little bit harder. So I can't think of anything off the top of my head though. But I know that I've seen some original movies that have actually been pretty good.
In my opinion, Sci-Fi original movies are always entertaining.
I mean, the ones you always think of are like Sharknado and stuff, but there are actual like good ones, I think. But I'm not finding any, so maybe I'm just full of shit.
Right. But the type of stuff that you think of when you think of Sci-Fi original movies, like
is like Anaconda versus Mega Snake.
Is
which are two
Anaconda
different
versus
snakes.
Mega Snake, or Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which was the cheesiest shit in the world on purpose.
Yeah, and same with Critters.
Yeah.
They do.
So who
they
knows?
do
Maybe
have.
if they.
They do have better luck with their series though.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they did Defiance, Eureka, Haven, Sanctuary, and Warehouse 13, which are all pretty good. 12 Monkeys.
Yeah. They also more recently did The Expanse, which is apparently pretty good. I watched the
Holy
first
shit.
episode and thought that the writing was kind of not the writing. I thought the writing was fine. I thought the acting was really bad.
I just looked at fucking I just looked up sci-fi original movies, and I saw the top rated ones are Sharknado and Sharknado 2, which have the exact same cover, except the second one has the Statue of Liberty in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. The next one is John Halpert. John Halpert is going to be writing A Quiet Place 2. John Halpert previously wrote A Quiet Place 1 and directed. He's not directing, but he's going to be writing for it. Okay.
So here's my question.
Hmm?
Do we want a Quiet Place 2?
Not really.
Because I feel like the ending of it made it very clear what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But is that what we want
do we
to
need
see?
to... Here's the thing. There is in movies there are multiple ways to show and don't tell. There are a bunch of ways to screw showing and don't telling up. One of the ways is to verbally tell as much as you can and make it fucking terrible, without using the actual medium in any way that's interesting. A second one is to show too much when you don't need to.
So I think there's one way this could work, though. It could be the aliens to Alien.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and I think that might make it okay, right? Because that's sort of where they looked like they would go if there was going to be a sequel. I sort of don't need one, but I guess if they were going to do that, I hope they do that.
If they did it like, you know, it'd be nice if they did it like 10 years after the first A Quiet Place, where it's like they're trying to put everything back together.
I almost think it would be better if it happened almost immediately after, and it was about the woman putting something together, right?
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know about this either. We'll have to wait and see what it is when it comes out. The next one is a the article about what we were talking about with the new Halloween movie, the comeback of the slasher movie. It also lists Mandy as a slasher movie, and this was in the Reddit thread that I was talking about earlier and kind of bitching about some of the Reddit people in. There's a lot of dissension on whether or not Mandy is actually a slasher movie, and a lot of people going, "Oh, Mandy was fucking dumb and I hated it. It was boring because I'm."
Well,
anyway,
I can't. Okay, here's the thing. I care more about what you think than Reddit thinks. So, do you think Mandy is a slasher movie?
It's very tough. I think like the last half of Mandy is a slasher movie, and Nicolas Cage is the slasher man. But he's kind of killing the bad guys. I don't know if it really counts as that. I would say go into it not expecting a slasher movie. But yeah,
because I had almost say that only the first half of Halloween is a slasher movie.
All right, yeah, and it's kind of weird because I mean these kind of go against what a slasher movie very much is. It's like giallo movies. Giallo movies have like, I remember I was looking up giallo movies, and one of the critics in the beginning of the giallo movies is like, you know, Americans and like a lot of specifically Americans like to categorize stuff in genres, and giallo isn't really like that. It's just a bunch of Italian murder mystery movies where a foreign person comes to Italy and then has to solve a mystery that isn't the police because they're the only one who can do it because the police can't. Really, it's not categorizable. And I feel like these slasher movies are very categorizable, and these maybe don't fit in that category. Or maybe they're going to make something new. Maybe we can take what slasher is and expand on that and do other things that are fun and interesting. So who knows?
Yeah. It feels like Halloween, the new Halloween. Why didn't they just call it Halloween 2 again?
Oh, yeah.
Halloween 2, parentheses, again.
I swear to God, this is like the third movie called Halloween that is a Halloween movie. Because there's also the Rob Zombie one. Remember that? Neither does it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I remember House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah. And Devil's Rejects.
I remember hearing of those. I haven't seen either.
Yeah. But yeah, I've seen Devil's Rejects, but I haven't seen House of a Thousand Corpses. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think what they did with Halloween, the new Halloween, is something they could have only done with Halloween.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have made sense to do it with Jason, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
They did anyway.
Unless they wanted to bring back fucking...
no, I mean, they couldn't...
Mom.
There's literally no way to do it. Because, because of how things were ended at the end of Halloween. So,
yeah.
Like, there's no... You can't do the same thing. There's nowhere to go for Jason.
Yeah.
Plus, really, Jason... The way people think about the Jason series, they think about Jason 2 and onward. They don't really think about Jason. Like, people want to see the hockey mask, right?
I would go say so far as to say they think about Friday the 13th 3 because he doesn't have the hockey mask in 2. He just has that bag over his face.
Yeah. They want to see that hockey mask. They don't care about anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
Man, I didn't even remember that Jason didn't get his hockey mask in the second one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. Do we want slasher movies though?
No.
No.
Like,
I'm still of the mind that they murdered the horror genre. Or at least helped in its murdering.
A slasher movie, we can just go and watch the ones that already exist.
I mean, you say
I
that, but
feel
that's
like,
what I say about all remakes.
I feel like they could... Well, I think in this case, Halloween was a good remake.
Yeah.
Pseudo-sequel. Well...
Yeah. A good
it's a
soft
sequel.
Reboot.
Yeah, soft reboot. Thank you. I don't think you could do it with everything. I don't think that it would even be possible with Jason or Freddy, right?
Yeah, they are dead ass making another fucking Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Sure they
like
are.
The last time they did.
I'm sure they are. That being said, don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, who knows? Maybe they find a good guy that could play Freddy good, and then have him be fun.
Well,
I thought the Rorschach guy
was
great, but he was.
Because I think the only way to do it really is to take the genre and twist it in some way. It can't just be dude kills people. Like, that's why Scream was successful. It's because it followed all of these slasher movies and was like, hey, let's do something different. You know?
And hell, that's why Nightmare on Elm Street was successful, because it did it like it put a fun twist on it.
Right.
Yeah. And they're just not going to put any more fun twists on it.
Yeah, then it was just repeated for ad nauseum forever. And then you got really weird ones that were basically slasher films, but not, like Candyman and stuff.
Yeah, strange things.
So I don't know, like, they just need and it's not like the one answer to this is social commentary, but that's what made Get Out good. And that's there's like definitely aspects of that in the new Halloween. So you have to do something that makes it matter as a film. It can't just be dude kills people. Which don't get me wrong, watching people die in hilarious ways is fun. Like, that's why the Final Destination movies, even though they're bad, are kind of fun to watch anyway. But like, you can't do that forever. You need to actually get back to basics at some point, right? Or not basics, but like, if basics is making a good film, you know?
Yeah.
So I would not be opposed to watching more slasher movies, but they need to be good.
Yeah, that's what it really comes down to. But hey, again, we in a good time for horror movies. We got good shit going on right now, you know?
And I really hope there isn't a Halloween soft reboot too. Like that. This movie is a movie that does need to end the franchise.
Yeah.
Will it? Probably not, but it should.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Next. So that's it, right?
Yeah,
I think that's it for news.
All right. so that's us for this week. Why don't we talk about some of the stuff coming up on our channel? Thel.
Alright, I'm gonna release what's probably going to be an Amnesia video. I don't know if I'm gonna do the hard mode because...
What do you mean probably going to be an Amnesia video? Alright,
so last night I kind of have like... I've been really up in the air with this. I kind of do hate Amnesia's hard mode. I feel like, and maybe it's just like, I kind of hate having to be forced to constantly look for tinderboxes like everywhere. It doesn't feel like it adds all that much to the game aside from like a constant need to find tinderboxes to save, and then you just go back like.
Oh, you mean exactly what I said when we were talking about?
Oh yeah, pretty much, basically. Because like when they said they got rid of like they brought down the number of tinderboxes, I didn't realize they brought down the number of tinderboxes by this amount. Like you will dead ass have to go back like 2 chapters sometimes. Like what I did was I was basically speed running it to get to the water monster because it kills you in 1 hit now. Maybe I just didn't drink laudanum. Anyway, and of course there is like times where I ran into that bug that they still haven't fixed. That the first time that you encounter the monster is like this place where you turn right and there's like a bottle of laudanum, and then the monster comes in and just like stares at you, and you have to like actually, if you are like too far away, he'll walk through the door and stare at you until you lose all of your sanity, until you walk towards him, and then he'll fuck off. And they still haven't fixed that, and that was one of the ways that I died. I legitimately did that to test to see if it would kill me still, and it absolutely did.
Great.
So yeah. Yeah, so I'm probably just gonna make it out of the fucking original game.
So my impression was that you said it would probably be an Amnesia video, but you forgot to make the Amnesia.
What I was thinking was I might even like switch it over to like Resident Evil 7 or something, because I was like playing and I was like, remember how Resident Evil 7 had like specific spots that you had to save and like you were constantly waiting for save? That was really fun. How did this one fuck that up? I liked it in Resident Evil 7. Why don't I like it here? Maybe it's just because I played through the game like 15 times. I don't know.
No, I can tell you why. It's because there's not a specific spot that you have to save. It's because you have to scrounge and scrimp for your saves, and then if you save at the wrong spot, then fuck you.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I never did save at the wrong spot because I, again, know the game. I know the game like the back of my fucking hand. But like the problem is I don't want to have to go. The water monster caught up to me because he's faster now in this one part, and I don't want to have to go do the whole water monster part again without getting hit. That's annoying, and I don't want to do that.
Yep.
I've done it. I did it before, and I was right next to the ending door.
Where the hard mode limit your ability to save as a difficulty mechanic are not, that is not difficulty. It's just tedium. If the game is designed from the ground up to limit your saves, that's different. But if the hard mode limits your saves, it's the same reason that Fallout 4 survival mode sucks without modding the ability to save back in. It's just tedious. It doesn't add anything. It doesn't add difficulty. It just makes you redo the same exact shit over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why Resident Evil, like the original set, by, comparison, worked well, because they thought about how many ink ribbons and shit they were going to give you.
Yeah.
And, they kind of took that out later just because, but like it was a resource that you had to use, but it made you make decisions without being so punishing that it was just avoiding annoyance.
Yeah.
So
and that was one of the things about like Amnesia's hard mode. Apparently, like people have, because I've been looking at like stuff about like the tinderboxes and stuff. Apparently, like there's either some randomization to which tinderboxes were removed, or they're different based on the consoles. Because like there are people who have like watched streamers and to like look for tinderboxes, gone to the place that streamer found one of the tinderboxes, and there wasn't one there.
Oh God.
So which is kind of like, oh, that sucks.
I actually kind of like that, but it needs at least a higher drop chance.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind randomization for that kind of thing, but it does need a higher drop chance, because if you have none the whole time, then all it just makes it is annoying, like Dalsson was saying. So
because like deadass, what I had to do was I had to save every other chapter, right? Because like in one chapter you'll get 2 tinderboxes, and another chapter you'll get 2, and you need 4 to save.
Right.
So it is just really annoying. So it's like I saved like right before the water monster. It's like, yeah, all right, I'll save here so I don't have to fucking deal with this in case I fuck up.
I think the dumb thing about it on top of that is just it completely makes you not ever use tinderboxes for their intended purpose.
Yeah, that's another thing.
It's like,
and
why?
The thing is, you still can use tinderboxes for their intended purpose. And I never did this, but I feel like it would be kind of a big pain in the ass. Like, you'd have to go back your save if you like used a tinderbox on like stuff. Because I saw like constantly coming up, it's like, oh, 3 tinderboxes. Would you like to use it on this candle? I'm like, fuck, no, I wouldn't. You kidding me? If I accidentally clicked there, I'd be like, oh, shit, son of a bitch, gotta go back. And that would just be the worst.
Yeah.
And especially it's kind of a problem because like there's specifically a level, the fucking prison, I'm certain is a nightmare on hard mode, because that's like one where it's like you gotta put at least one fucking tinderbox somewhere in the prison, because it's like constantly nighttime, and there's a point in the very beginning of the prison where the monster just spawns right up your asshole, so you gotta fucking run back to where like where you can fucking hide. And it's like, I feel like that would be terrible without a tinderbox, because it does drop lantern oil and you can use that, but
yeah, there's a difference between having limited resources and having fucking none ever.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like all of these things I feel like would work fine if they removed exactly one of the things from the hard mode. All of this, saving and stuff would be a lot better if sanity didn't kill you, because then you wouldn't have to worry about tinderboxes as much. If it had auto saves, then it'd be fine that you didn't have as many tinderboxes for saves and stuff, and you could still use them for their intended purposes. If it took 2 tinderboxes instead of 4, you could still not have auto saves and have it kill you, and still have the same amount of resources, but it only takes 2. Because there was a point I found like 2 tinderboxes right next to each other, and if that was enough to save, it'd be like, okay, I also have 3 now, so now I can use that one, or just save that for saving later. Yeah. Just take out one of these things and it would be fine, but all of them piled onto each other, it makes it annoying.
Or even if it still costs 4, just increase the drop, or like double the drop rate. And
exactly. Like don't, and you can still like remove some of the tinderboxes, just not as much, because like constantly in the original Amnesia, and the reason I thought this was a really good idea is because in the original Amnesia, you were running around finding fucking tinderboxes all the goddamn time. You'd have like 15 of them. You wouldn't have any fucking idea what to do with them. There were like 131 tinderboxes in the game. At no point in Amnesia have I ever run out of lantern oil in all the time I spent playing it. And every game I use like 3 tinderboxes at most, because I'm feeling frivolous.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like they took it just one tiny step too far. It could have been fun, but they just like removed one little thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't really intend for that to turn into a conversation about Amnesia, but yeah. I guess we'll find out. I'll put it in the tags anyway.
I'm probably just going to I'm probably just going to play the original version and make a bunch, because there's a bunch of jokes I wanted to make about it, and it's like, yeah, with this fucking hard mode, I'm not going to be able to make those jokes. I had like a fucking last night I had like this huge fucking thing. I was trying to get to bed, but I was like, what the fuck is the video going to be for this Friday? Should I just do Resident Evil 7 instead? What the fuck am I going to do? Nah, I should just do original Amnesia. Fuck it.
Well, if you do want to push it back, we also have that monkey thing. Monkey Pac-Man.
We do have the monkey thing. It's not very much, but we have the monkey thing. And I'm probably going to edit that this week, and maybe it'll come out next week. I don't know. Okay. But I'll definitely be able to get it out by Friday. Because I am going to do the original Amnesia. I'm probably just going to blow through it in one night.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, Dalsson, are we going to try to be streaming in the evening some more, or how are you feeling on that?
Yeah, probably. But again, it's hard because it's not every night. Maybe a couple of evenings. I still have to skip my streams at least on Friday, but my work
Fridays are always hard
a little bit.
Yeah.
Friday, because I am working in Friday mornings, which is right in my stream time, and nights we do movies for October.
Yeah.
But I probably am going to be streaming this Saturday. I don't know what it'll be, because I never know what it'll be.
So probably look out for it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, probably.
Yeah.
And maybe
We might be actually doing recording stuff on Wednesday.
Yeah, maybe not
For
Wednesday,
sure,
but
for
we'll
sure
see.
on Thursday.
Yeah, for
Thursday
sure
we're
on
always
Thursday,
streaming
yeah.
at night.
Yeah, we'll probably do something on Tuesday.
Yeah.
As well.
And I might not be here on time, but I'll show up eventually. On
that's
Tuesday,
fine.
I mean.
Right.
All right, so that's it for this week. We'll see you guys next time, and remember, as always,
Stay beautiful.